Hello. Hello. So yeah, we're back. Citizen Sleeper. This is the final time. I know I've said that like a million times, but I mean it this time. Because this is the final episode DLC called Purge. So we accidentally started the DLC slightly too early, but managed to get through the story without too much of a hassle, though we would have been better had we done it at the end of the let me switch over to the thing you showed me face. So it would have been better if we'd done it at the end, when we got an ending, when we had more dice available, when we had more powers, because we failed to get the ship safely through the embargo, barricade, whatever it was called. Though we did get the supplies. Whoa. Okay, I didn't expect that. Why? Thank you, Jesse, for the raid. I appreciate it. What happened to the... I was watching the April Fool's Seed, and then suddenly you have no Fool's Seed, and the maniacal laughter was kind of soothing after a while. But yes, so just a little shout out to Jesse, who was doing Link to the Past, and now I'm confused because now I have two me's up. So yeah. Okay, so hello raiders, welcome in. I'm just recapping the Citizen Sleeper. So yeah, they got this as a promo code back in like May last year. No, not May last year, but I got it back last year, and we've done a few streams getting through the story. We picked up the first episode of the DLC, which was a free update. Let me just quickly filter my thing. So yeah, we played this back in October last year. We did 3 streams in sort of fairly quick succession, and we picked up the DLC, as I said, possibly slightly too soon. We didn't manage to, save the ship, but we did get the supplies. In December, the second episode of the DLC came out. So we picked up that, and we got a couple of endings, and we were like, okay, the last thing we're going to do is just this final episode of the DLC. This one's called Episode Purge, just to round out the stream, because otherwise it just sort of leaves it hanging. So this is going to be a shorter stream, probably, literally just finalizing the DLC, and possibly there may be a quest with the mechanic in the ring thing that might give us another ending. I'm not sure. I mean, the DLC does not have any achievements associated with it, but it does. It is a sort of post-launch DLC expansion story arc thing. So yeah, Episode Purge. The expansion is now complete. So yeah, there's also talk about how that's not the end, but it may be the end of the DLC stuff. In this one, I don't know whether that means there's going to be a sequel. I'd be quite happy with a sequel. I really enjoyed this game. It's developed by Jump Over the Age and published by Fellow Traveller. And it came out May 5th last year, 2022. It is currently on sale. It's currently on sale for 30% off. Bargain. Yeah, it's 30% off right now for another 2 days, two and a half days. So if you don't have it, please do feel free to pick it up. It's also on Game Pass, which I've just realized as going into the notes. I did get a copy of this code for streaming purposes from the publishers. I have said thank you many times, but I'll say thank you again because I do really appreciate it. It's an RPG with dice rolls and like RNG card type, RNG dice rolls, and then like card type missions, with a little bit of story in there as well. We are... How to describe Citizen Sleeper? We are a biomechanical life form. We are a mechanical life form which has a copy of a biological life form that is possibly asleep somewhere. We escaped, and then we're trying to keep ourselves alive, even though like there's some safety measures in, and they've sent people after us because we're property. And there's a whole like arc with AIs and corrupt politicians and some sort of conspiracies going on. It's really quite involved and it's really very cool. So yeah, we will continue with episode Purge. Now it is out. There are 4 VODs in this series on my YouTube already. If you're starting to watch this one, then it's the final one. So probably go back to the first one. Just search for Citizen Sleeper in my channel. So yes, we are a operator class in cycle 77. We are... Ooh, okay, hang on. Let me make there be slightly less volume. We are pretty much end game. As I said, we're doing the DLC. Right, I think that's good. If it's too loud, let me know. So let's have a quick look about what we've got. So right, okay, yeah. There's like a shipbuilding thing to get off. This is the admin where we can swap fragments and data for money. We have some fragments of things. This was where our home was, but we now moved somewhere and we have a cat. That's a ship that comes in. That's also a ship that comes in. It's not arrived yet. That has salvage in, because we were collecting salvage bits, because we can use salvage to repair ourselves. We should have managed our salvage better at the beginning of the game, but we didn't know. So this is, we built a bar here. Oh yeah, it's D-pad navigation, I keep forgetting. Where we can now cook stuff and have a bar shift. That's just hardware exchange, where we can sell components or play for money. Fabricator, where we can create the ship mine from fragments. We have 2 fragments. This is our mushroom guy. And yeah, this is really good. Mushroom things. There's a tea house where we can get some money, or we can exchange data. This is our unit where we have feed the stray, which we're going to just do right now because I can't remember where we were at, so I may as well feed the stray. So the stray crunches up the crackers as you watch. Sometimes they'll let you stroke them, sometimes not. But yeah, so we can't end the cycle because we've just started. We have our dice. So there's a stabilizer. We have 2 of those. That is the yellow bar at the very top where it says stable right now. We can gather energy by sunbathing, which is the white bar just above where it says leave. We can self-repair if we have scrap. We don't... Oh no, we do have 2 scraps. So that gives us 1 more yellow bar at the top. We want 5 dice, so we always want to repair those. So we're trying to get scrap on things. Those stabilizer also does the same, but it's just easier. There's also a delivery place. We're pretty much down to the last bits. This is a random table where we could do some dates, do some exchangings. This is the hub where we can steal a shipment. 1 more gets us an achievement. I don't want to do that just yet because it will also alert security. And I'm going to do that when I've exhausted this save. Because there's possibly a couple of... There's still that ship at the very beginning. So there's also the import-export, sell ship mine, export, buy ship mines. We've got the eye up here, where we have a gimbal lounge, which is just basically buy food. We have sleeping capsules where we can rent it to sleep. We have a decent amount of credits. And then this is Bliss's Bay. So when this component repair... Okay, so we can get crypto by basically doing repairs. So Maritza's heard Blitz speaking with someone remotely as they're in the job coming in. We've got 2 more cycles before that unlocks. That will, I believe, give us a chance for 2 more endings. And then there's the Founder's Ferry, which takes us across the Greenway. Across the Greenway, we have our farm stacks. I would not want to steal the harvest. We can barter for food, we can work, gets us some cryo. We have all the perks so we can see stuff. We've got the mushroom groves where we can collect spores, forage for fungus. We're not looking for fungus at the moment right now. We've got our aviary where we can harvest our mushrooms. We need to plant spores. So, yeah. We can actually do that right now if we wanted mushrooms. We don't really need mushrooms. This is the labs where we can synthesize mushrooms for our stabilizer. We've got 2 stabilizers, we don't need that. The cult headquarters also let us sleep if we're over here, but we can't pet the cat. This is just a random work assignment. They will always give you energy, as everyone's treated equally. There's the wastes where we can gather some scrap. And then there's the Briar Base Camp, which was where we were sleeping while we were waiting for the... here. So this is the barricadey thing. So this is the climbing briar. So we're gathering evidence. Peak is compiling the evidence on the flux. Oh yeah, so that was the first one. It's like episode flux. No, there was episode... I'm just going to look it up. It was episode something, episode flux, episode purge. The flux was the last one. The first one was like refugees or something like that. Let me... Citizen Sleeper. It'll say on the website what the episodes are called, right? So punch. Refuge. It was Refuge. That was the October one. Flux was the first one. Then it was Refuge. So yeah, Flux was there's a whole bunch of refugee ships and we're not quite sure what's happening, but we need to get them supplies because they're basically being blocked from being on the station. And then the second episode was helping the refugee ships, and then there was this like giant like wave of energy, that's the Flux, and now we are gathering evidence, and now we're in Purge. So that's 2 cycles as well. So yeah, presented to Soy or Hélène, you get the sense they are dreading the choice. Okay, so Hélène is like the council, one of the counselors on the ship, and I can't remember who Soy is right now. It might be I don't know. It'll tell us. We'll have a thing. So we've got 2 cycles for that. So Bliss. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Okay. So there's also boarding the Citadel. Yeah, so we'll get a chance probably to leave with Bliss or stay. We'll leave first and then we'll reload to stay. We can generally get 2 endings in that thing, doing it that way. Sorry, I got the sneezes. So yeah, we're just going to, so yeah, we're gonna have to take, so we've got Clubhead caps, Gerald caps, Grove spores, Shipman fragment, 1 scrap, stabilizer and some credits. We don't have any data right now. Oh yeah, so the other thing is like the data side of the ship. And this is like the AI side. We do actually have data. We've got some Havenage data and some Yatkan data, which we can sell if we needed credits. So we could forage some mushrooms. We will probably, and so yeah, there's agents which will give us data. So there's lots of things on this one, so we may as well put some stuff into this one. It's going to give us some credits. We're mainly waiting for the ship to come back, so we can harvest some scrap. That's going to be 3 cycles. Well, I suppose what we could do is harvest the scrap over in the thing. And if we spend a 1 in here. Also, we need to have a look at what our things are. So let's just do that to get 2 energy, which fills up our energy. So this wastes, it's a +1, so we may as well use our 6 to gather a scrap. So we got +1 scrap. Okay, cool. So the only quest we've got active right now, because we're waiting 2 more cycles, is win a Citadel ticket. So there is some endings related to that. We have completed all but 1 of these. All but 1 or 2 of these. Yeah. And then these are our skills. We basically need a couple more upgrade points. Yeah, so we've got 2 points. Why can't I select anything? Okay. Okay, I think... I'm not quite sure what we've got selected right now. Yeah, we've got 2 upgrade points. We could upgrade to hard to kill. I can remember how we get into that. That seems to be a wee bit broken. Not quite sure what got selected right now. But that's fine. We ideally want 3 points to get, you know, +2s. So what we're going to do is go do some Citadel work because we may as well take advantage. It's going to be lots of cycles to get through that, and then that means that I can do that off stream more easily. So we've got a +2, which means that that becomes a 6. It's dangerous, so we shouldn't really do anything less than a thing. So we got +2 Citadel Horizon and +15 credits. You spend the shift in a flow state, linking systems like thread and loom. Your mind is a diagram of cause and effect. So we gain money anyway, so it may be worth. I don't know whether I want to chance it. I also get an extra 5 cryo because I have that thing. Okay, let's just chance it because it gives us a 5, which should be okay. We got a positive outcome. Awesome. So we just got +6. So now I'm going to go back to my house over here because it's not too far away to end the cycle. So that means now 1 more cycle before Purge and Bliss things. Of course, you know, we're managing these really well. We will feed the stray. Because why not? What dice have we got? So we got some 1s. 1s aren't great. So let's go put 3 dice in the Citadel one. Because, yeah, we've still got 2 more cycles before that appears. Yeah, there's all kinds of side quests and story and everything. It's brilliant. I really enjoy how it works. But yeah, this is really just setting it up for later because I didn't really want to help them build this ship. Oh no, we only got a +1, we got a neutral. Okay, so 15. That's still fine. Okay, so we'll go and do 2. Though we could pick up some data because that usually lets us use a 1. Yeah, let's just get some data. And then go and just go get 2 energy by working the commune with our 1. Keeps our energy up, which is great. Yeah, okay. Right, so keep 2 dices and win condition is breaking, but I think I was saving because I've only got 1 quest left. We're saving that for that 3. Yeah, I managed to get it to work that time. Okay, so we've got 1 cycle before we get a decision on that. Sometimes the navigation is a wee bit iffy, but I think they seem to have firmed that up because it's less of a pain than it was last time we played. And we've got 1 cycle before that. I mean, we could have got that ending before we started the DLC, but it depends what it's going to do. Whether it's going to force us into stuff. So, down. We could have probably harvested some mushrooms as well, but... Alright, feed the stray. Okay, 2 6s, 1 4 and a 2. So there we go. Alright, Moritz, there we go. This is Bellis's assistant. Sleeper, long time. Moritz is smiling at you when you leave, clearly happy to see you again. Moritz, good to see you. Same. He rubs his hands on his jacket. How have you been? Really well. Good to hear it. He looks you up and down. I knew you'd make it work. You are a smart one. He glances around. Hey, look, I'm not down here to chat, though. I know Bliss said she didn't want to take on any more jobs, but she's changed her mind or something. He grins. Because now we have someone looking for a retrofit of their ship in our bay. You would not believe it. They want their entire ship disarmed. Cutting out defense arrays, weapons lockers, ship-to-ship countermeasures, the whole lot. He leans in. Be able to start an arms dealership with all the hardware we'll have up there when we're done. He laughs. Anyway, it's a massive job and we need some hands. Bliss said to go get you. So come on up. Bliss is waiting on you to accept the job. He pauses. It'll be good to have you up there again. He grins. Like old times. And then we've also got Peak from the DLC. I've forgotten all the voices, so we're doing our best. Sleeper! Peak is waiting for you in the corridor. It's time. Peak looks pale and disheveled, with heavy marks under their eyes and strands of hair sticking to their face. I'm ready. Peak holds up a thumbnail-sized drive. All the data I've compiled on the flux event, the effects of the wave, and the structures that hide within it is on here. You look at the tiny drive, a casket of dark secrets. I've annotated it to the best of my ability. Anyone should be able to understand the threat, the potential in this. Peak sighs. It makes for grim reading. Without intervention, the Eye will suffer a cascading collapse of systems. Just like the colonies on Ember's moons. Intervention? Peak grimaces. That I'm still working on. Peak looks at the drive. This shadow in the flux, this protocol is so hard to pin down. It adapts to any countermeasure I've tried to deploy. It's like trying to hold water in a cage. It slips straight through. There has to be a way. So yeah, so there's basically... Sol... I can't remember who Sol is, but... It would help if I could remember who Sol is. But yeah. Is anyone here? Let's say hi. If anyone's here, just please say hi. Obviously, you know, I'm doing this for me, but it'd be nice to just have a little bit of company. Also curious what happened to Jesse's April Fool's seed. I feel like an hour was not enough time, and I'm a little concerned. But yeah, so if I can't remember who Sol is, but I feel like Sol is probably a safer option than Ellen. I know who Ellen is, I just can't remember who Sol is. Maybe Sol is one of the people on the refugee ships. But anyway, someone's hiding a signal, like a virus in this wave, which was used to like transport goods. So yeah, that's what's happening here. He closes their hand around the drive. We need help, Sleeper. This is about everyone on the station. They sigh. We have to set up a meeting. Tell someone who can do something about all this. Sol? Perhaps. Peak pauses. Maybe the flotilla will have a better chance of survival if they have the data, but what about the Eye? Will they protect it? Or perhaps, Peak adds thoughtfully, we've been thinking about this all wrong. Peak's eyes glint. Why make a choice when we can tell both of them? Why pick a side when the only side in this entire thing is one we all need to take? Peak speaks as they think, their words barely keeping pace with their thoughts. We need to resist this together or we will fail. We need everyone on board. Sleeper. Peak smiles. That's the only way. We send the data to both. You're right. Peak smiles. I'm glad you see it too. They look away. Another flux event is coming, I'm sure of it, and I'm not sure we can survive without help. Peak opens their hand and holds the drive out for you to take. You need to do this, Sleeper. I can't. You know Sol, you know Hélène. They trust you. To them, I'm just another spacer, but you are a part of this place. Hearing someone else says it hits you hard. You are a part of the Eye. Peak is right, but right now that feels more like a weakness than a strength. We've set up a data relay at the cordon. It's neutral ground. Take the data and send it out to Havenage and the flotilla. Once they receive it, they will come. We can be sure of that. You will meet them there and take them through it all. No one could do a better job. They took a strand of hair behind their ear. Come with me. Peak pauses. I can't. It would only draw suspicion on you. Havenage want nothing to do with this, and Sol is paranoid at best. Pete tentatively puts a hand on your shoulder. Thank you, Sleeper. I know this is hard, but we have to move forward. We can't keep this to ourselves anymore. They step back, looking thin and pale in the harsh station lights. Come talk to me once it's done. They slip away into the eye. Okay, right, so we've now got 2 things we need to do. Let's go and have a peekaboo and see if there's a countdown thing. Gordon. Once you send the data, episode purge and the final series of events on the eye will begin. After this point, you will not be able to return to complete other drives or find other endings. Oh. Right, okay, maybe we need to go and quickly do those other endings. So I've got no way of getting back otherwise. So as long as we don't start it, we're good. Alright. When you enter the bay, it's weirdly quiet. Or it's supposed to be out on some errands and maybe Bliss is prepping the kit. Ah! Sleeper. Ankita is drifting at one side of the bay. You missed it completely when you came in. The idea of not seeing Ankita when you entered a room would have seemed unlikely to you several cycles ago, but seeing her without her armor, she seems smaller, less imposing. Oh yeah, we had a whole storyline with her. Ankita. She nods and kicks off from the wall, drifting closer. So, what is this? She asks. Come to avenge Ashton or his sleeper, or just looking for another payout? Her anger is familiar, but quieter than before, restrained. I don't want to fight. Then why are you here? She looks away and you can tell her anger isn't directed at you in particular. It radiates off her like fire. You better be ready to sign, comes a shout from the bay entrance, because I've got my best repair tech coming up here, especially, and they're going to... Bliss glides in and suddenly stops herself when she sees you and Ankita standing off. Oh, Sleeper, you're already here. Miss Casata, this is the tech I was telling you about. Best on the... She stops, looking between the 2 of you. Do you 2 know each other? Yeah, we work together. Bliss squints at you both before continuing. Bliss produces a slate. Now, Miss Casetta, if you'd like to sign our damage weaver here, we can start on the decommissioning. She looks at you. My tech is eager to get started, as am I. Ankita scrawls a signature across the slate. Thank you. Bliss pauses. And everything's okay with the special payment terms we discussed? She gives Ankita a strange smile. All fine, says Ankita, giving you another hard look. Then she kicks off and drifts to the entrance. I'll be in the gimbal, she says, and leaves. Special payment terms? She looks over her glasses at you. Look, Sleeper, there's something I have to tell you. She glances around again. And what is she so nervous about? This isn't exactly a typical job. Miss Casetta, I mean Ankita, she gives you a knowing look, doesn't have the chits to pierce, so we've made a special agreement. She sighs. I'm leaving. Leaving? Keep it down. I haven't told Noretzla yet. She looks down. Just waiting to break it to him. Don't you tell him either. She stares hard at you. I tell him when I'm ready, and I don't want him getting worried about Ankita's history. It can be protective. You should tell him. Look, all I care is that she's headed for the starboard belt. She looks out of the bay, and that's where I'm headed. She turns back to face you. Also, I wanted to ask. She stops, unsure. If you'd come with us? I can't. Ooh, I can't. She interrupts before you can answer. I know things have been hard for you on the eye, and you helped me so much. I asked Ankita if she'd carry 2 of us, and she said yes. Moritz will take over the bay anyway, although if you stay here, you're welcome to help him run it. Just thought, she sighs, you might be in need of a fresh start as much as I am. She turns away nervously. Think about it anyway, the berth's there, we've got time to finish the job anyway. We've got to finish the job first anyway. And with that she kicks away and heads to the racks before you can offer an answer. Moments later, Moritz enters with a new cutting torch for the disarming of the ambergris. The starboard belt. Push your thoughts to the back of your mind. Time to get to work. Okay, so, yeah, we're gonna... Right, so we're disarming... we get a +3 if we have good things. We've got 3 good dice there. So that gives us 3... Okay, so we can't do it in... one unless we re-rolled. We could possibly re-roll. Once it all out. Working on amber again is a joy. You know, every inch of this hull. After all, you fitted half of it. Ankita wants it all out. Weapons, countermeasures, torpedoes. It would be a risky job if you didn't know Amber so well. So I think the option is we leave, and then we do a reload, and then we stay. So left stick. Wrong button. We reroll. Okay, cool. We get 6 is good at least. There we go. Once this job is ready, you better be ready to make a fast decision. Stay with Moritz or go with Ankita and Bliss. So that was easy. We did that in a turn. So, Amber looks better than she's ever before. Bliss has done an incredible job of cleaning up the hull. Despite exterior changes being limited, she has the impression of being lighter, somehow sleeker. Okay, so leaving with Bliss and Ankita, choose this one first. Then continue instead to stay and help Moritz for another ending. Yeah. So we get starboard passage and the fixed stars. But yeah, we've got 9 achievements left. We've locked ourselves out of one of them, and I think one of them you can't do in the same as you do the others, but right, okay. So we could steal. Apparently the stealing, all it does is lock out the location, which is fine. So I'm just thinking about achievements that we can get. I think the Citadel stuff is probably, I don't know, because Purge is going to lock us out of everything. I don't know, basically. We can have a quick look. I mean, we've got a couple of hours. So anyway, Amber looks better than she's ever before, blah, blah, blah. Spirit changes, sleeker and lighter. Okay, cool. Moritz just by. He's been loading up the final equipment onto Amber. It turns out Ankita will be taking her weapons, but packed and ready to sell at the first starboard belt port she heads. But now that Moritz is done, he seems in a kind of daze, floating back and forth aimlessly. Are you okay, Moritz? What's that? He turns. Oh, right, yeah. Packed and stacked. He smiles a weak smile. Was hoping Miss Cassata would let me keep a warhead. For what? He shrugs. I don't know. Just might be a cool thing to have around. Hey, Sleeper. He looks down. Did you know Bliss was leaving? You understand now. She's told him that's why he's like this. I did. He nods distractedly. She said this place is mine. He looks up around the bay like some sort of vast space he doesn't know what to do with. You do a great job. He looks down at you. Hey, thanks. He smiles. I appreciate you saying that. Not many people believed in me before now. First Bliss, then you. Dark look suddenly crosses his face. Hey, Sleeper, there was something Bliss said. He meets your eye. Are you going to? Before you can answer, Ankita glides into the bay, a massive crate on her shoulder. Sleeper, you coming or what? Bliss is already on board. She stops by the terminal, holding herself in place. Moritz looks at her with a dazed expression. You look at Ankita. She's keeping it together now. She's packed all those bad feelings down in some place where you'll never see them and built a tough foundation on top. She may not be a mercenary anymore, but you imagine most people would think twice before trying to cross her. Well, she looks at you. I'm not eager to spend another moment of my time on this station unless I have to. She pauses, looking between you and Moritz. She sighs. I'll give you a minute. And she kicks off with the crate, taking it to the end of the bay where the ambers had stocked. You look back at Moritz. I'm going. Moritz looks like he might pass out. I get it. He steels himself. It's the right decision. Thank you. Hey, thank you for working with me these past cycles. He smiles a shaky smile. I learnt a lot. Hey look, he moves a little closer. You've got to find what you need. I did. This place, you. This was everything I needed. He sniffs. I was in a bad place and this pulled me out. He looks away. So you go find it. Ankita comes back across the bay, the final crate stowed. You coming then, sleeper? I'm coming. She nods. Well, okay then. Come on over with your things and I'll help you get you settled. She pauses. I'm sure Amber will be happy to have you. You both glide away from Moritz, his eyes wet but a smile on his face. He waves as you go, dwarfed by the vast bay, and you hope he will make it, even though you know somehow that he will. Ankita helps you through the lock onto the amber, and the sense of familiarity is overwhelming. You think about all the time you've spent working in these corridors, listening to these sounds, diagnosing these hisses. Ankita gives you a minute before she speaks. Look, sleeper, I'm not going to go back over everything that happened, she sighs, trying to put that behind me. She stops, unsure of how to proceed. It's okay, the past is done. She nods. She stops. Thank you. I don't know if we can begin again, but we can move on. She sounds pained, tired. As you move off down the corridor towards the burst, she tries again. Don't think it was that I thought the wrong things about who or what you are. I just didn't think of you. I didn't think how things might affect you. And I realized I've been like that for a long time, focused, stubborn, willing to get the job done at any cost. She pauses. This is hard for her, but you don't want to interrupt. Well, I'm sick of paying the cost. Sick of being used as an extension of something bigger, something crueler than me, and having that cruelty, that violence flow through me. I just want to be me for a while. She looks down, or at least figure out who that is. She takes a deep breath. So what I'm saying is you can get off the first port we hit in the belt. I wouldn't blame you. It's a smart move. She pauses. Or you can stick around and see if we can all find a way to make space for all of us. She looks away, her energy exhausted. Thank you. She nods. Nothing else. This is you. She turns you to a small room with a bunk and a porthole to the flickering lights outside. The outside wall is sloped like a roof, and tucked beneath it is a small desk and terminal. Bliss is next door, though I think she's in the hold right now. She says she wants to make sure the warheads are locked down tight. Ankita observes your nervous response. They are, obviously. She gives you a look. Ankita slips away and you look around the room. You go over to the porthole and place a hand on the wall and feel amber purr. You think you're going to like it here. You stay like that for a while, looking out of the portal, one hand on the wall, feeling the ship. It's through that portal that you will watch the eye getting smaller and smaller, drowning in black. At some point it will become so small that you could hold it between your thumb and index finger, and it will wink out, and you won't be able to see it anymore. And it's that moment that you will finally exhale, collapse on your bunk. In moments you'll be asleep, and when you wake up, it'll be among friends. Your way to somewhere new. And there we go. Starward Passage. We'll just watch the credits. I just had a brief, I really hope I haven't screwed up this playthrough. We'll try and maybe get Citadel done as well. So we really can't get back. We need to do one more steel, so we need a good dice for that, not the 3. So yeah. Okay, so if we do continue, operate 179, should put us back before we have to. Yeah, so we should be able to do something with the Sidereal ending. Oh, that was it. Right, okay, so we roll again. Okay, so... I mean, it's not great, but we'll do that just because it'll give us that action, and then we'll just whiz through the thing and say, we're not leaving. What do you think of... what do you think of her? Miss Casita? He shrugs. She seems tired and old, like older than she looks. I did. You do a great job. I'm staying. Moritz looks like he might pass out. Sleeper, are you sure? Are you doing this for me? I'm staying for me. Moritz nods. Alright then, you're staying, he grins. Ankita comes back across the bay, the final crate stowed. You staying then? Sleeper? I'm staying. Well, she nods. Well, okay then. One last mouth to feed. She pauses. Look, Sleeper, I'm not going to go back over everything that happened, she sighs. Trying to put that behind me, but I hope you find what you're looking for here. She smiles and kicks off, gliding to the ambergris and the starboard belt beyond. You both watch in silence as amber strive fires up. I guess this is our place now, says Moritz, the weight of everything suddenly hitting him. Your place. He smiles. Okay, but I'll need some help from time to time. You both stay for a while to watch Amber and Bliss and Ankita leave, and then Moritz goes to the racks to finally implement a new organization system, and you head out, promising to be back to check on things soon. As you glide around the soft curve of the hub, you catch glimpses of the distant stars flickering through the windows. They're beautiful, it's true, but by now you think of them as a distraction. In your time on the Eye, you've realized there's nothing out there waiting for you. No fresh starts, no bright futures, just some hiccups, and a whole load of problems you haven't found yet. No, your place is here among the people you know and the problems you know. You wish Ankita and Bliss the best of luck out in the belt, but as you do, you focus on the Eye, on the vast spinning rim that rotates around its hub, on its buildings and flashing lights, on its people and places. It is your home, and for now it contains all the futures you need. Oop, okay, we don't need to do that to fix stars. Everything can be repaired with enough time and effort. So that's 2 more endings. Right, okay, so now we've got Bliss's Bay. We can do basically repair to get a decent amount of crypto. Next round's yours. Moritz arrives at the table with a couple of steel drink canisters typical of the hub's only bar, the Gimbal Lounge. He settles into the webbing beside the table and clunks them down onto the magnetic table. This place, you have decided, is ridiculous. Rapidly spinning cavernous sphere, the gimbal's weak gravity, just like the gravity at the Eye's rim, is created by its gut-wrenching rotation. The interior surface of the sphere is the gimbal's floor, which descends towards the equator, where one long bar loops around the entire circumference. Tumbling out from that central ring are an array of booths and seating arrangements with all kinds of harnesses and webbing to keep customers in place. Those harnesses are there because the gimbal doesn't quite spin up fast enough, and you watch as the clientele bounce towards the bar in lazy arcs or shift from table to table with graceful leaps. What are you thinking? Asked Moritz, noticing you staring out in the gimbal. How weird this place is. Moritz glances around as if for the first time. Yeah, Bliss never used to like coming here. Moritz takes a drink and stretch. So, Sleeper, you sticking around? I have things to take care of. Moritz nods. Yeah, I thought you might. Moritz rubs at the back of his head. One cycle at a time, that's how we'll take it. Nice and easy. You aren't sure if he's talking to yourself or you. I'll make it. He lifts his drink for a toast. To the next cycle, he pronounces and knocks it back. Later, when you finally leave the gimbal, Moritz is still laughing. You help him out of the spinning gimbal and back into the hub, sending him on his way home to the bay. You pause for a moment to watch the stars as they spin round and around the Eye. You smile to yourself and think of Bliss and Ankita out there somewhere among those points of light. To the next cycle. So, that's cool. Go down. But yeah, we need... Oh, we've got upgrades. No, we have upgrades, but we need to win a Sidereal ticket if we're going to do that. So yeah, so there's the freight hub. We want to steal a shipment. 4 is not good. We need to have 6. But apparently all it does is lock us out. So One more and then we can get some scrap things. We need to do our repair before we go up. I think 4 is fine for that. Neutral, yeah, we get a plus. Plus we've got 20 credits. So we're about halfway done with that. If we get some good dice, knowing that we can re-roll, I always forget, is good. And we'll just see what ending we can get there before we go and put in our data for the last time. So we fed the stray. Let's use one of our components to increase our condition. Mostly I'm just talking to myself here. I know there are people here, but you're all lurking, and that is okay. You had milestone of achievements 1. I don't think I need to share. So I'm not quite sure which one Marina the do list is. Other than, you know, it's one I haven't got. So end the cycle. Yeah, so we have to manually start purge. That's fine. We're just going to take a wee bit of time because, you know, that will be the end of the end of the end. Speed our stray. Those are absolutely freaking terrible to dice. Let's re-roll them. Okay, that's still fairly terrible. Okay, plus 2. Neutral plus 1. 4, hopefully we'll be okay. Neutral plus 1, okay. Can't re-roll again. But buy some scrap. That gives us cryo. We buy scrap. Okay, that's great. We got a random scrap item, which was actually scrap this time. We got a random scrap item, which was scrap. Excellent. Because sometimes we get ship mine bits, which is fine when I need ship mined, but now I've got scrap. Excellent. I got 3 scraps. I'm very happy about that. Okay, so... Oh, we should go use our 2 things to get some energy in the compound because I just realised we would be out of energy. I hadn't been keeping track of that because I forgot. So let's just get some plus 2 energy. I got a positive. Excellent. So we're full up on energy now. But yes, so we're just getting the final thing. So if we get like a 5 or a 6, if we get a bunch of good die, then let's use a scrap to repair. Then we'll do a steel. Oh, yes. Yes. Right, okay. So steal a shipment. That gives us a 6. We had 2 successful steals, positive, random, and bloop. There we go. So all that does is lock us out of the location. That's brilliant. So that's easy. Got that one. So yeah, so achievements left. So that is the one where we were supposed to pay the bar tab for that guy that was threatening us, which I didn't want to do because I didn't like him. We'll do it next time. So then there's a bunch of ones to do with the ship thing. We can get 2 of them. The others need to be in a separate thing. So let's see. Okay, so +2. See how many little dits we need yet. So. Okay, if we're lucky, this 5 gets us a +2. Yes. Okay. Fast colony ship is coming together, block by block. Each cycle you see another piece slot in place. So, that is now a thing. Your crew slowly filters out the shipyard locker room, the bubbling chatter reducing with each group that leaves. With excitement in the air, Haven has just made an announcement the assembly teams are done. Sat on the locker room bench, you can feel the Citadel out there, its hulking mass now intimately familiar to you. Over the past cycles, you've watched it grow, be assembled. You've walked through its veins and welded its bones. Now it's ready for the final stage. We'll go to testing now, then enter a final process of sealing and resealing, checking and rechecking before it's deemed suitable for its generational trip. But for now, your work's done. You can't help but feel proud. A cough interrupts your thoughts. It's Lem changing out his work gear, with Mina nowhere to be seen. He smiles. She'll be ready soon. Oh, she'll be ready soon. Where's Mina? You two are fast friends, huh? She's being watched at home now. I'm on the work team, so I can afford a bit more help. He corrects himself. Was on the work team. I mean, we're all out of a job now. He quickly adds, not that I'm complaining. Lem comes to sit beside you on the bench. She's got to be in her best shape when she carries you, Mina, and me out of here. So confident. Lem smiles apologetically. Why not? I figure I'm due a lucky turn by now. He rubs his hands nervously. No use in wondering what if until the draw anyway. There's a few cycles till then. Lem's right, but the odds seem unlikely anyway. How many are working in the shipyard? Hundreds? 1,000? You've certainly seen more faces than you can count pass through. And are the Celis Foundation even going to keep their promise? Out here on the Eye, you get the sense that no one will hold them to it. Why else would they be building the Citadel on a surrogate system? Do you think? Lem watches you with a worried look. How's Mina doing? Lem's surprised by the question, but smiles. She's doing well. She misses having you over, actually. I need to get the two of you together again soon. Especially now I won't see you here either. Lem gazes into space. She's pretty stuck on you, actually. She told me the other cycle she doesn't want to go unless you can come too. He sighs. You've been in a thunderstorm, Sleeper. A real big one. I don't remember. Lem shoots you a worried look for the moment. It's something else. He smiles. The sound, the smell, the rain hammering down, the whole sky stretched out and bruised, roaring and huge. The place I was born, New Pembroke, a dry old rock and Conway system, had 2 seasons. One of them was dry as a bone, dusty, ugly. The other one was one long storm, a side effect of the terraforming effects, they said. Rain used to rattle off the roofs like bullets. It washed the dust away, turned the streets to rivers. It'd sing us to sleep and wake us in the morning. We'd wait half a year just to see it again. The best day was the one where the first drops fell. He sniffs. Some days I wake up swearing I can hear it again. I was thinking, Mina's never seen a storm, never even felt rain. She's grown up here, the ring are only horizon, always in the dark. I want to change that for her. You will? Of course, almost there. Lem stands stretching. Best get back to the little one anyway. With the shifts done, I reckon she'll be happy to have me home for a few cycles. He shoulders his gear. See you in a few for the draw. I'll be there. Right on. He grins. Lem leaves, making you the last person in the cavernous locker room. As you sit, you think about the rain, and a little hope creeps in. Is it possible? Could the Citadel really take you to a planet with weather, with skies, with life? You get up quickly before you can think about it anymore. It's too soon to hope. Too dangerous. There's work to be done. Okay, so we're waiting. Oh god, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to grow some mushrooms. Citadel drawing 3. Right, okay, cool. Oh, that's fine. And Havenage officers, which give me credits. That's back there. We can go and collect some scrap. And collect some mushrooms and stuff. Okay. So yeah, we should be able to get 2 endings, and then yeah, there's 2 mutually exclusive endings to do with this whole ship thing. But and then one that, yeah, the achievement that I didn't get. So we will leave the eye on the Citadel, and then we will reconsider leaving the eye. And then we can do Purge. Oh hey, the stream alerted. An hour after I started. But I'd already pinged anyway, so. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, I mean, hopefully everyone's enjoying this. We're going to feed them Stray, because, you know, maybe they'll introduce something where I can, you know... Oh, those are terrible things, but we can try a reroll. So we're going to go and grab 2... We should be able to grab at least 2 scrap. Well, no, we can grab 1 scrap safely. We may as well try for that. Positive. Excellent. Okay, so then we're going to re-roll that, and we're going to go get another scrap with that, and then we're going to get 2 energy. So we've got 7 scrap, which should be good enough for whatever we need for Purge and keeping our condition safe. And we've still got 2 pills as well anyway, so... And then we can go buy a few cycles. Yeah, okay, so I wasn't anticipating it literally locking out other endings, and I'm like, okay, we should probably just go do those endings, because I don't want to miss out. Okay, so we've got 1 more cycle till the draw. And then we'll have 3 cycles to do something. Yeah, the clock doesn't always work on those. So you have to go into them. It's always been slightly stuck. Okay, so... Actually, that's not. Let's go get a scrap. Or should we get some mushrooms? We should be getting good with getting mushrooms. 2 rare random. Cool. Reroll. Excellent. So we've got enough to make another pill as well. Mushroom grows. We should collect some spores. And plant some spores. Because then at least they can grow. And we have some other different kinds of mushrooms. Because we need them. Now we've got another pill. Just in case, because just in cases are always good. and then we'll get some energy. Okay, so we got 4 pills now. It's going to be plenty in case we get hit by the condition thing. We've got some Durol caps and some Matsuks, which we can use for stuff if we need to. Okay, so, yeah, next one will be... So we should repair. And cycle, feed cat. Just check that that's processing properly. Okay, so, Mina. The crowds have already gathered by the time you get to the shipyard, and you recognise faces among them, people you've worked alongside on the Citadel. The intervening cycles have turned their excitement to anxiety, and a few of them smile at you. Instead, the nervous energy of the crowd fills the space, creating a feedback loop of growing tension. You pick out Lem and Mina and work your way over to them, pushing through the crowd. He silently raises his eyebrows at you, anxiety obvious, but Mina flashes you a huge smile, unaware of the tension. "Robot!" she shouts, reaching out to you. Hug her. She gratefully accepts your hug, leaning against your chest, and Lem smiles, seemingly glad to share the weight of Mina for a moment. "Quite the turnout, huh?" Lem glances around, pulling Mina close. "I don't think patient is one of these crowd's strengths." The sound of an argument towards the back catches you on Lem's attention. He puts it lightly. This place seems set to explode. This isn't good. Lem doesn't dare answer, but the look in his eyes suggests he agrees. "This is Asta Enghart of the Celis Foundation," the announcement echoes from the speakers at the shipyard, and shouts of "Quiet!" rapidly follow. "I'm sorry I can't be there to meet all of you, and thank you on behalf of Sandra Celis for the work you've done on the Citadel Horizon." Most of the crowd strains to see Asta's face, but the small display only shows a ghostly white figure smudged and unclear. "Sandra wanted me to pass on her personal thanks for your commitment and belief in the Celis Foundation's mission. We chose the Eye for this project because we knew we would find like-minded individuals here, especially among the ranks of the venerable Havanage Association. Unlike most of the Corps, we neither believe Erlen's Eye to be a threat or rogue state, but instead an embryo for the formation of a new decentralized social structure, one where each citizen might be the master of their own destiny." A ripple of impatience runs through the crowd. They didn't come here for this sermon. "You are all pioneers, just like those core citizens who the Citadel Horizon will carry in cryosleep to the planet that will become the Foundation's first frontier world, Celis 1. The mention of the destination world, excited conversations break out among the workers. "There, our citizens will be able to create their own innovative, bottom-up economic order aligned with the principles set down by Sandra Celis herself. Freedom, resilience, and self-sustenance. This is all thanks to your tireless efforts in the Havanage Yards. As a reward for those efforts, you may know we're offering a select group the opportunity to join the caretakers of this vision, the staff on the Citadel Horizon, who will maintain the vessel during its multi-decade transit through interstellar space." I'm regretting this voice. Lem turns to you, his eyes bright. "This is it. This draw has been performed at random by the central AIs of the Foundation and is final and binding. Please note, only licensed contractors of the Foundation are eligible for this draw. I know you have all been eagerly awaiting this day, and without further delay, I will now read the Celis identification numbers of those chosen for this great honor." A murmur runs through the crowd. Celis identification numbers? Licensed contractors? You've never even heard the term mentioned. Is this something you were supposed to be assigned? You glance at Lem, but his eyes are fixed forward, wide and shimmering. All around you, people are speaking in hushed tones like a rising wave. Asta starts reading out sequences of numbers and letters, and panic begins to set in. No one seems to know what's happening. Somewhere near the front of the crowd, someone shouts in celebration, and everyone pushes forward. "Lem?" You turn to see Lem staring forward. Mina is scared now as the shouts start. "Daddy!" Shit. Someone throws something at the entrance and it rattles against the shipyard doors. You see for the first time Havenage security stood on either side, scared, arguing between themselves. You feel the anger rising in the crowd. Lem, let's go. He doesn't move. I'm just... They might call out names. I can't. Mina tugs at his dog tags. It's not happening. Lem blinks rapidly and then turns to you. He opens and closes his mouth and looks down at Mina. He sees the fear in her eyes and understands. Time to go. You lead Lem and Mina out, shoving people aside. As you do, you hear the sounds of scuffles emerging at the front of the crowd, and metal canisters bouncing off the shipyard walls. You keep your head down and walk away, the sound of Esther reading off the ciphers echoing above the chaos like some strange mantra. When you turn to Lem, there are tear tracks running down his cheeks, and Mina is sniffling into his jacket. You feel the sadness rising in you too. They screwed you. Screwed all of you. You were never even on the list. The feeling is as unpleasant as is familiar. You stare ahead into the tunnel as the security sirens sound out, a signal for the coming violence. Shit. We failed the drive, but that was... Yeah, okay, so should we... We're not going to get to braking. Still, potentially, could get something, right? So, okay. We've still got 3 cycles there. Lem Mina's unit. Excellent. Okay. There's a note. Gone to find work. Lem. Okay. So we've got 3 cycles there. Let's just check up here first. I think let's probably just do work for money. Yeah, and we don't need money. We have 571. We don't need money. We're very unlikely to need money at this point. So we've set mushrooms to grow. Let's go get some scrap, because scrap's always good at this point. It's chance of 5. Neutral. We got minus energy. Okay, well that's fine. We'll just go and... minus energy I can deal with. We can literally just do 2 of these to get our energy back. This is the most useful. Use up your shit dice when you are at the end of it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we got some more scrap because scrap's useful. Right, we fed our cat already because we did that when we woke up. So it's now just a case of quickly nipping through as much as we can for the cycles. Okay, so... cycle clock on that. That's cycling good. That's still got... yeah, so we've got 2 more cycles before something will happen with that. Let's go pick up some more scrap and an energy. Because yeah, literally all we can do is get mushrooms and scrap at this point. We don't know what we're going to need for purge. Last time we needed a lot of scrap and we didn't have it. Chance that. Minus energy, so let's go use up this. We still got a scrap, so it's all good. No point in re-rolling at the moment. But yeah, hopefully everyone's having a good weekend. Apparently we're having a quiet evening, that's okay. I mean, I'm quite happy to babble along. Feel free to, you know, chat if you want to. Say hi. Put an emoji. Look. Not entirely sure that the chat is actually working at this point, but hey. Right, let's feed the string. Quickly check on progress things. minus energy. Reroll. Oh, excellent. Because we can go buy mushrooms. At this point, you know, I'm going to take advantage of my... Actually... Where's the food? Barter for food. Plus energy. Just in case we get a minus energy on this one. Oh, we're good. I'll go buy mushrooms. Because, you know, support my mushroom guy. +3 energy, but more it's just, you know, keeping things ticking. So let's use a scrap. Right. Got some decent dice. Right, do we go see Lamina first? Oh, it moved. Okay. Right. We have to go see Lamina. There's no other option. There's no answer when you buzz Lem's unit, but the door's open. You push open the door and find Mina, sitting in the middle of the floor playing with Bun Bun. Hi, Mina. Hi, Baba, says Mina, suddenly waving Bun Bun's paw without looking up. Where's Daddy? Mina doesn't respond. She walks Bun Bun across the floor, narrating quietly to herself. You look around the unit. It's a mess. Dishes and glasses on one side. On the side, some of Mina's clothing piled up in a corner. Mina is sitting by her bag, which is spilled out across the floor, her drawing slate cracked and dark. Let's play with Mina. You sit down beside Mina and she turns away, taking Bun Bun with her. But after a little while, she turns back and you play together. She insists you both Bun Bun... Okay, that sentence doesn't make sense. You take Bun Bun on a trip away, dragging the stuffed rabbit across counters and services. You've just started to look at fixing Mina's cracked slate when Lemon enters. Sleeper, what are you? He pauses and looks from you to Mina and back again. Never mind. He drops the bag by the door and slumps on the couch. Everything okay? Lem lets out a weak laugh. You forgot the past few cycles now, too. Wish I was so lucky. He looks away at the open door. Look, now's not a good time. I want to help. Help? Unless you have a Citadel ticket or two on you, I don't think there's much you can do here. He pinches the bridge of his nose. You understand, they never even put us on the list, right? I've been all around the rim looking for work, and I've run into more than a few from the cruise. It turns out only long-time Havenage members were issued those set-aside due numbers. They never planned to consider us. Havenage said they didn't know that was what they were going to use to make the draw, and who knows, maybe sellers pulled the walls over their eyes. But what does it matter? All those hours in the yards for a hand-to-mouth wage and nothing else. He slams his hand down on the sofa. This can't be it. Well, it is. He looks at the open door again. They're moving the Citadel up the hub now, you know, he says without meeting your eye. That's where it'll be to part from. They're bringing in a ship with all their cryosleep pioneers and transferring them up there in microgravity before loading the crew. We can sneak aboard? You think they're just going to let people on board? The security they'll have us be impossible. He looks over at Mina. Look, we'll be fine. We always have been. I just need a little time. He sighs. We had our hearts set on that trip is all. Mina comes over and climbs into his lap. He smiles. I'm not giving up. Good for you. If you get yourself on that ship, I won't stop you. Lem strokes Mina's hair. Look, you want to go up on the hub and ask around, be my guest. I can't get up there with Mina down here, and I'm sure the Citadel will bring in a crowd. Be careful. This kind of thing always attracts scammers and thieves. You find a way on board, you take it. You need help to get there, ask me, but for now, me and Meanie here, sticking to the eye. She looks up at him and smiles. I'll find a way for all of us. Lem smiles but doesn't say anything. You stand to leave and Mina grabs your hand, eager to give you one more smile. Then you are out, back in the walkways of the low end, already thinking of plans to make this right. Hells yes. So yeah, now we just need to find where the ship thing is. Oh, is it up here? Ah. Citadel dock. Right. Scout the dock. You've got to find a way on board. Okay, well, we've got some good things. Citadel's being loaded and prepped. Motion is possible to find a way on board. You watch the loading crews going back and forth, noting their paths and entryways. Could this work? I don't know. Do we chance it with a 5? It's risky. Let's try. Neutral. We got a plus. You ask a few of the off-duty workers about schedules, systems, and get a few useful tips. Okay, well, the 5 gave us a neutral. It's not likely to give us a bad. So there we go. You hope against hope that there's a chink in the Citadel's Horizon's vast armor. Caster. Oh, I can't remember Caster. Data fence. Anyway, quite the achievement, isn't she? Sandra Sellis must be quite proud. You recognise the resonating voice of Castor immediately, and turned to see him hooded and tucked into the shadows near the viewing platform. Castor? I see you remember our game. Good. I mean, he said resonating, but I'm doing this voice. He looks around, but the platform is clear. I'm afraid you'll have to wait for a rematch. Microgravity makes Tavla a little difficult. He smiles broadly. Can't remember. Castor walks out to stand beside you on the platform. The telltale clunk of his magnetic boots accompanies his slow crossing. He notices you looking at them. I don't much like it up here, he explains. I hear there was some trouble at Haven's shipyard when they announced the results of the crew lottery. They screwed us. I know, he sighs, meeting your eye. An ugly business. Sellers are too used to the way things work in the core. Exploitation is the only logic they know. He gestures out at the Citadel. You know why they built this monstrosity on the Eye? Control? Certainly there's no corporate oversight out here, but that's not all. He stares at the pristine yellow hull. Sellers built it here, says Castor gravely, because they didn't want anyone to know it exists. He rubs his forehead. And secrecy is something I cannot abide. Turns to face you. There are people being loaded onto that ship as we speak. Sleeping people locked in cryosleep like the person you were emulated from. There are hundreds of them, and Sellers wants to send them out to a planet at the edge of the settled system, without anyone knowing where it is. But you, Sleeper, can do something about that. You are like me. You deal with data. You can read it right out the air. With someone like you on that ship, secrecy isn't a problem. You can ping back whatever I need, whenever I need, as long as you're on board. You on the Citadel, and with some minor modifications, he pauses, you can be my eyes and ears. I will keep track of Celis's grand project through you. In short, says Castor, stretching, I can get you aboard, Sleeper, but I am going to need you to help me. Who are you? I am a concerned party, someone who likes to know what's happening when it's happening, not afterwards. It's not just me. Yes, your friend Lem, that can be arranged. It's difficult, but not impossible. The condition is, of course, that you go too. Castor clunks closer to the window, watching the tugs wheeling around the Citadel. It's a simple offer, and the only one that will get you on that ship. Please consider it. He turns back, silhouetted against the ship. But to make it happen, I need your assistance, as I said. There is a Celis Foundation ship docked in the now empty shipyard. I need the data from its servers. This will allow me to produce the IDs necessary for our transit. Castor looks over his glasses at you. Seems aren't stupid, though. Their ship is totally isolated from the station. You need to get on board if you want access to their air-walled servers. Once you have the data, meet me at your friend's unit so we can give him the good news. He smiles. I notice his importance to you. And the little one. So cute. You don't extract the data before the Citadel Horizon leaves the hub, then I will get the message. You have other options, but you're certainly my preferred one. But be sure when you act, Sleeper, once you take the data from Celis, you'll set off a series of events that will be hard for you to entangle yourself from. Either way, I recommend you stop asking around. Up here, you're bringing a lot of attention to yourself. Castor glances around as if to emphasize his point. There are only a handful of cycles until departure, Sleeper. Make your decision. With that, Castor marches back off the platform, the sound of his mag boots fading away, leaving you to contemplate the Citadel Horizon and the part it may play in your future. Okay, we got a new drive. Escape on the Citadel. Okay. So we've got 6 cycles. Okay. Shipyard's over here. Sell a ship. Okay, bluff past security. Careful observation. Let's reroll. Oh no, that's terrible. Okay, let's go get some energy and we'll do that fresh with fresh dice. Can't believe no one's speaking to me today. Is anybody out there? My mushroom's fruited. I feel like I'm talking to myself half the time. I figure we repair, and then if we get hit by a condition thing, we just use the stabilizer. Okay. You okay, Jesse? I hope you're okay. Okay, so we're gonna bluff our way on because we've got a 6. Convince the guards to help you look for your ID inside the ship before you remember you left it at home. Okay. Patrol pattern, security information server and locations. You need to case this place bit by bit. Security get wise to the potential breach. So the ship will go into lockdown for several cycles. Okay. So we can't use that one again. We have to do this. Okay, so then... Careful observation and instinct for security procedure will help you understand how to sneak on board. And a trick that only works once. There we go. You note down shift changes, security keys, camera positions, possible route starts to emerge in your mind. Okay, so we can do one more. Okay, so servers, extract data. Got a +2, which is excellent. So we get some cryo. Okay, you're in, maybe. If you do this right, you might be able to pull something more than just IDs. So we go. You have find the data, but sitting right there beside it's a cache of cryo. Do both. Too easy. Okay. Buy some scrap. Ah, we got a ship mine bit. Well, we can make a ship mine out of that then. Ugh. 2 ship mine things. I got a ship mine which we can sell for a decent amount if we need to. $150 cryo. If we needed 150 cryo, we've got it now. And also export Bazook. Okay. When you arrive at Lemon Mina's unit, Castor is already waiting outside, leaning beside the door. Forgive me, Sleeper, but Celis is already buzzing with news of the breach. I was expecting you. Don't like you tracking me. That's unfortunate, Sleeper, because that's exactly what I'll be doing for the foreseeable future. Castor reaches into a pocket and produces a slim green and white hand terminal. The data, please. What's that? Something I acquired from Celis while you were busy on that ship. Castor pushes up his glasses. I've been waiting for you the entire time. You hand over the drive with the data and Castor fishes around for a converter cable to hook it up. He slots it into the terminal and left them whirring. A set of 2 transparent films marked with numeric sequences are produced. 2 tickets to an uncertain future, Castor smiles to himself. The child will go with Lem, of course. He pockets them. These are yours, but first, he holds out a white cube your side of the deal. What is it? Something to help us make use of you. Passes you the square and you rest it in your palm. A small white perfect cube. Suddenly, you feel a sharp pain and flinch. The cube jumps from your hand and rattles along the walkway. You look at Castor apologetically. Castor smiles. Not to worry. It's done its job. Now it's for you to do yours. You look down and see a tiny pinprick in the centre of your palm. Nothing sinister. Castor put the terminal away. This is why we can keep track of you on the sidereal horizon. Didn't agree to this. You did, Sleeper. Castor adjusts his glasses. You're trying to understand that I could have done this without you knowing. This way, everything is on the table, so to speak. Castor hands you the transparent films, and you see shimmering portraits of you and Lem flickering beneath the surface. Go, give them the good news. And he reaches across and buzzes the unit. Lem slides open the door, half dressed in his gear. Sleeper, what brings you up here? Come in. He beckons you inside. You look to the side, expecting to see Castor, but the wall's empty. The unit's cleaner, better organised than last time. Lem sits at the thin bar and gestures for you to sit. Mina's with some of the local kids. Someone has started doing lessons down the way. She seems to like it. You sit at the bar. What's up, Sleeper? I have some news. Out with it then, Lem laughs. I have Celis IDs for us. You have? Lem freezes. How? He blinks rapidly, as if to wipe you from his vision. Does that mean? Yep. Lem stands up and paces around the unit. We have to pack. He starts laughing. Holy shit, we have to pack! He turns back to you, smiling. How the hell did you swing this, Sleeper? Made a deal. What a deal. Colour me impressed. You show him the ID films and he whistles at the portraits. Impressive stuff. He pats you on the shoulder. You should stay until Mina gets home. We can tell her together. Sure. The buzzer goes. That'll be her. Lem gets up and opens the door, and Mina, a bundle of energy and life, rushes into the room. Ah! She shouts. Lem picks her up. Mina, you won't believe what they brought us. You flash at the passers. She looks confused. We're going away after all, Meanie. He lifts her up above her head. On that big, beautiful ship. Mina screams and Lem laughs. He puts Mina down and she runs over to you and hugs your legs. I love you, Baba, she says quietly so only you can hear. I love you too. And a while later, while you leave, you don't even think to check for Castor by the door until it's too late. You stop and turn halfway down the walkway, but there's nothing there. Even that little white cube is gone. So you keep walking back through the low end, deep in thought, excited and scared all at once. Excellent. Ooh. The running game. Did whatever it took to get that ticket. Cool. Well, I don't think I could have done anything more with that. Oh, I've got to wait out that clock. Ugh. Okay. I'm just going to use that to gather some energy. So you needed at least one. That was wasting a dice, basically. Okay. Right. Yeah, I don't think we can do anything else other than data's extracted. Just wait through. Let's just check, actually. Excuse me. Okay, so we've got like 6 more cycles. Yeah. Probably should have been doing this along the way, but it's very hard to keep track of everything. Oh, we got a positive. Excellent. Okay, so... it's risky, we could lose some energy, but that's fine. Oh, we got growth spores. we may as well sleep here. Feeding the pet does nothing. We'll feed it before we go. Oops. Don't think I wanted to do that. That was the wrong dice, but it's fine. We might get 3 energy anyway. A decent amount of scrappy stuff. We might get some mushrooms. Get some decent dice. Yeah. Let me just double check. We don't want it to leave without us. Nope, still 4 more cycles. Yes, this was totally supposed to be, let's just do the final DLC and go. But yes, we're an hour and a half into the stream. We haven't, but you know, there's a reason. Food, pay for it, and we'll go get a scrap because that's a 6. We don't want to waste a 6. As I said, we don't know what we're going to need, so let's not, you know, chance things. We might need mushrooms, we might need scrap, we need a ship mind. Excellent. I'm going to go back to my place because I'm going to get mushrooms because that gives me 3 energy. We can feed the cats. Yeah, we did sort of like knowing what I know about what resources we're going to need, we'll manage them a lot better in the next playthrough. But that'll be off stream, obviously. Two more cycles left. I hope it really is just a then we can go and not I'm going to miss something. But anyway, this will be the last ending I can get on this save. Cool, so we've got spoils for next time. We roll them. We've got 2 6s for a thing, and then we'll do... Yeah, this is basically endgame where you're just farming everything. I remember such a sense of urgency at the beginning where I was like, oh my god, I've only got so many cycles to do the thing. And then it's not really, like, bad. Alright. One more cycle. Alright, we'll just go and... Got one more for the mushrooms. Those, just got it. Chance that. Lost energy, that's fine. Use the 1 to get energy. We should get 3 if we get the perk. Right, we'll chance the 5. Because even if we lose energy, we should still get a scrap. There we go, perfect. Go back to our apartment so we can feed the cats. And this is the last one for this, and then we're going on to the DLC. So sorry if everyone's been waiting for that. Because it said you can't go back, I'm like, oh, well, I can't do the things, and I have this other ending, and then it's like, well, I may as well do the last ending. There's a crowd, but you spot Lem and Mina immediately as you enter the dock. They're waiting at the cordon where Sal's security are checking the crew in to board the ship. Those that manage to get up to the hub are crowded near the entrance, but even they know their chance of getting on board has long gone. Lem spots you among the crowd. Sleeper, we are here. They are standing behind a bag which looks to carry all the possessions they have. It's small enough to be carried in one hand. Hi, Mina. Mina's vibrating with excitement. She seems strangely at home in microgravity, but then you remember she spent her whole life in space. But you hand over the Celis ID film to Lem, keeping your own. He turns it back and forth in the light. Where did your friend even get this picture, Sleeper? Looks like my old Conway ID. You look, and a shimmering younger lens stares out, the film harder and clean cut. Spoke to the guard here. He nods to the white and green-clad security officer. We're doing orientation and role assignment on board. Sounds like we're going to be working under the core crew, kind of like an intern. He laughs. What do you think, Meanie? Am I too old to be an intern? Following Lem's lead, you inspect your ID. You see something strange. As you lift the film up to the light, you see something strange. Something that makes you flinch. The face printed in the film is one you recognize immediately, but it's not you, at least not how you look now. You squint at this ghost, confused why you hadn't noticed earlier. It was a picture you remember being taken, a memory you didn't know you had. You remember signing the forms, the walk to the sleeper tanks, the cold metal floor. You remember the S&R employee who helped you in, her smile clean and surgical. You freeze in place, thinking of the you that still sleeps somewhere in an S&R facility, that won't wake until you are recovered and disposed of. And now you're leaving. Will they ever wake up? Sleeper? Lem interrupts your thoughts. Those guys want us to board. You stare at him without thinking, then notice the guard gesturing you to both come forward. You all kick off and float over to them, steadying yourself on the guardrail. You hang back, letting Lem present his ID film first. The guard slides it across a white machine, much like the one Castor printed them from. You reflexively rub the puncture mark on your hand, even though there's no trace of it now. It seems to be your destiny to be someone else's tool. Okay, so we should be able to do some waiting and maybe not board when we redo this. Lem and Mina are waved through, the guard smiling at her excited face. Lem turns back to check you are coming. The guard beckons you closer. board. You shake off your doubts and hand over your ID film. The guard barely looks at it as they pass it through the scanner and wave you through. A new life built from old things. You okay? Lem asks, concerned as you catch up with him. You're so slow, robot! Mina teased, grabbing at you with small hands. Just making sure. Lem nods, and you realise how much harder it must have been for him to cross that threshold. Mina struggles on his arms, trying to get to you, and Lem relents, struggling with both the bag and his daughter. Mina trembles through the microgravity and grabs onto your clothes for purchase. Pulling yourself into your arms, you all proceed up the walkway, the entrance to the docking bridge yawning wide above you. Are we family, robot? Mina asks as you move, taking you by surprise. I guess so. Mina smiles and presses her head against your chest, pleased by your answer. You keep moving up into the docking bridge, then along that thin, glass-walled connector, all the time Mina clutching onto you. The lack of gravity means you can't feel her weight, only the grip of her small hands on your clothes. You both stare wide-eyed at the vast hull of the Citadel horizon and try to think of this huge machine as a home. Later, when you settle into your bunk after Mina's finished running back and forth between you and Lem with endless infectious incitement, you find yourself looking at your ID film once more. Somehow, since the last time you looked at it, the image seems to have changed. It's still a picture of the old you, the person that signed up to have their consciousness copied and placed into the ownership of Essenarp, but something else has crept into the image, an underlying sense of self-identification. This is also a picture of you now. The you that survived the eye, that made friends here, that found a way out, that escaped against all odds. The other you may never wake up, they might never live again, but so be it. They consigned you to a doomed life for their own gain. Their life is yours now. You will live it better than they ever could. You lie back on your bunk as the thrust of the Citadel's vast engines kick in. This feeling, this rumble, will be a constant companion for the next decades. It will be there when you work, when you watch Mina grow, when you dream of the planet at the end of the journey. It will stay with you when your body starts to fail, despite the best attempts of Len and Mina as the years stack up, and it exceeds its safe operating period by a decade. We've got 5 pills, though. We should be good for a little bit. It'll be the thing you wake up to in those rare moments of consciousness between which Mina will keep you in a frozen state in the hope of preserving you until your destination is breached. Be there. It will still be there when Mina wakes you, tears in her eyes, to tell you of Lem's inevitable death. Geez, that hit hard. And it will not relent, despite your desire for a moment of silence. It will be the final thing you hear as Mina shuts down all but the most vital of your functions and hopes beyond hope that you make it to your final destination. All the while doubting that you will. But now, in this moment of departure, it's still a new sound, a new feeling, and because of this, it's filled with a promise of the future. And so you settle back on your bunk and close your eyes, and in moments you are sleeping, a perfect dreamless sleep, the most peaceful you can ever remember. Excuse me? Yeah. I didn't expect that to happen. Because they said suspended animation, but I guess the workers can't. Right, so we should be able to, not go on the ship now. Operate 95. We've gone so many cycles from 77. But yeah, so we should be able to get left behind as well. For some reason that just hit really freaking hard. Something stops you calling out to Lem. Maybe it's fear or nerves, or just a need to take a little longer in this moment before your world changes once more. Decision was made, you reason. There's no point in rethinking again and again. All you can do is move forward in its shadow until so many cycles pass that you forget it was even there. Lem spots you among the crowd. Sleeper, we are here. They're standing beside a bag, which looks to yeah, there we are. So, hi Mina. Continue, 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 continue. Wait. You wait for a moment. You need to wait for a moment. This is all happening too fast, changing too much. There are so many questions you have, so many threads to catch hold of, and yet here you are, boarding a ship to who knows where on a journey that will take decades. Reconsider. Is this even what you want? How will you even survive? You suddenly feel dizzy, unsettled. You can make out the concerned look on Lem's face as you hold back. The guard gestures again, Mina's eyes looking back at you are so bright in the starlight. Stay on the eye. You can't do it. You can't get on that ship. You turn away quickly, trying not to look at Lem, to look at Mina, to meet their eyes. You turn away and kick off hard from the guardrail. When you reach the far wall, you turn back. The scene continues in front of you as if nothing has changed. The next set of people are boarding. The crowds are still gathered at the cordon. The Citadel horizon still blinks, its yellow hull bright against the stars. And there are Lem and Mina, guiding up towards the docking bridge, bag in hand. Lem's facing away, focused on the steady climb, but Mina's in his arms and is facing back towards you. You watched her face, confused, sullen, but twinkling with a growing excitement as Lem carries her forward. As you watch Mina, you think about your future, about the future you might choose. You know one thing for certain, that the future is on the eye. You no longer have an enthusiasm for being carried forward by the dreams of others, for grand futures that unfold like angelic wings across the horizon. The future is being made now on this spinning ring, amongst its people and systems. You're sure of that. But as you watch Mina disappear into the entrance of the Citadel horizon, and much later, when you watch the ship pull away, you feel a sense of longing. A longing to be carried, not by the systems that spin the stars, or the corporations that run the colonies, but by love, towards an uncertain future, just as Mina was. That, you think, is the future you wish to make here on Erlen's Eye. So, yeah, we've now had 6 different endings. Let them go. We've got all the things that we can get in one playthrough now. So there's 2 endings that you have to sort of get independently. So now what we're going to do is there we go. Strange choice. Castor stands beside you at the rail, watching the pinpricks of light from the Citadel Horizon's drive disappear. Perhaps not unexpected. You turn to look, and Castor is beaming at you with an unsettling warmth. Aren't you angry? About what? He squeezes your shoulder. I wish for you to exercise that strong drive of yours. If it happens to align with my own, then it is pleasing to me. But if it does not, I cannot punish you. What about the Citadel? Citadel. Castor looks out to the stars. To do my best to follow its progress. He pauses. Celis itself is of more concern. Sindra Celis has taken a step back from the public eye. It seems some internal struggles are playing out within their pristine halls. Castor sighs. But I doubt core politics of as much concern to you. Castor moves down the rail. The eye, though, that seems to be your primary concern. Am I right? I have unfinished business. He pats you on the back. Don't we all? It is the nature of life to leave things unfinished. I have more projects than I can count. So many games still to play and things to learn. May your future cycles be as fruitful as my own. Castor turns and starts to clunk away in his mag boots. I'll be keeping an eye on you if you don't mind, Sleeper. He waves as he walks. Curiosity remains piqued. Once he leaves, you stay a little longer at the rail watching the stars. Imagining the look on Mina's face when she sees Celis 1 for the first time. Imagining the excitement when she first touches its soil. The joy when she first stands outside in the rain laughing. Those images, though they will not happen for decades, are what will carry you through the cycle and perhaps the next one too. But, you know, her dad's not going to be there. That's the sad part, you know, he's gonna die on that ship, but he hopefully got her a better future. So, we have done basically everything that can be done on the station, besides, you know, repeating regular missions. Oh, is that Castor? Oh, he was just some random guy we got some protocol stuff for. It was just a random side mission. I don't think it had any importance. We can harvest mushrooms again. I don't think we need to right now. What we're going to do right now is go here and go send flux data. Once you send the data, episode purge and the final series of events on the eye will begin. After this point, we will not be able to return to complete other drives or find other endings. Make sure you're ready. Oh, wait. So we completed it. We should have 3 points. No, we still only have 2 points. Seriously, we got a ticket. Okay. I mean, we don't really need that. We could possibly get another drive at some point. Anyway, okay. So, Peaks Relay lies ready. This is it. The data is a ticking time bomb. Once it's sent, there's no going back. So we're good. We've finished all the drives. We've got 6 endings. We can't get the other 2 because they're blocked out by the ship leaving there. So let's go. They're not brilliant dice, but... Pings a confirmation. The data is sent. Now all you can do is wait for the response. With the data sent, the only thing to do is wait. Okay, well, we're going to take that opportunity to just have a very quick break. One of these days I'll remember to put the pause recording button on here so I can do a break, pause the recording and start the recording when I come back, and then the break is not on my VOD. But for now, sorry people on the VOD, just skip forward about 3 minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's switch over. There we go. The data sent, the only thing to do is wait. As you do, you imagine Hélène receiving the data, perhaps in the middle of some Havenage Council meeting. You think of her trembling hands as she slips out of the room to read it. Her reaction you can't predict. You imagine Sol too. One of his crew finding him in some corner of the Pilgrim Seed, overseeing the modifications that will turn it into an ark. Those sharp eyes scanning the data, looking for a way to proceed. The wait draws out, and to pass the time you watch the activity beyond the edge of the eye. Scrap shuttles pulling components from the now abandoned cordon, and the supply skiffs making runs between flotilla ships. It isn't long before you hear the chirping of one of Hélène's now familiar drones approaching the viewing platform, and then Hélène herself strides into the room. Where did you get this, Sleeper? Hélène holds up a slate scrolling with streams of flux data as she enters. I need to know your source. Hello to you too. So you didn't bring me here for a reunion, I assume? Hélène smiles a thin smile. Then you'll forgive me for skipping the pleasantries. She pauses and pushes her hair back out of her face. This is a lot to take in, a shadow protocol inside the flux, the system's CAN channel starting up, a total collapse of the eye. She rubs her forehead. If I bring this to the council, She turns away. They'll believe you. She laughs. Do you know what has been happening within Havenage, Sleeper? She looks away out at the flotilla. Since the refugee ships started arriving, things have changed. It's chaos. No one can settle on a single issue, and there's division at every vote. But in the division, only one group prospers, the hardliners, because as each councillor gets tired of the arguments, gets tired of the compromise, they become more attracted to the easy answers. The flotilla is to blame, the refugees are opportunists, the eye must be defended. She shakes her head. And now you're telling me they brought something to the eye that will cause its collapse. They didn't bring it. It doesn't matter, Sleeper, that's all the councillors will hear. She closes her eyes, a hand to her temple. Many of them already presume the refugees are somehow to blame. Does someone say refugees? Sol clanks into the docking bay, grinning at the situation. Speak of the devil, and well, here I am. His suit hisses as he settles on his cane. Hélène glances between the two of you, uncertain as she's been drawn into some elaborate plan. Sol holds out his hand. Sol, he nods. I believe we have spoken remotely, while the cordon was still up. Oops. Sorry, I just needed to hydrate. Otherwise I'm going to end up with a headache tomorrow. We're all allies here. Sol raises an eyebrow. That seems a little presumptuous, doesn't it? I trust you, Sleeper, but Havenage have been the ones seeking to hold us without charge or good reason. I'm not Havenage, Hélène blurts out and corrects herself. What I mean to say is no one person represents Havenage. That's the idea. I did not support the cordon, and I did not support your quarantine. Sol nods. Well done. Sol glances at you. Anyone mind if I get myself up to speed here? Pauses, but you get the feeling he isn't inspecting an answer. 1. The flux events, the very same destabilizing waves that collapsed the colonies on the moons of Ember, have reached the station. He holds up a stubby finger. 2. According to data Sleeper provided, these events are acting as a cover for some kind of intrusive protocol which is causing the real damage. Second finger joins the first. 3. The Shadow Protocol will do the very same thing it did to Amber's Song, Step and Hearth, and quickly. And short, it'll shut everything keeping this place alive. 4. And this is my favourite. We have no idea who or what is doing this and why. Sol's final finger joins the other 3. Is that about the total of it? There's also another flex event coming. Of course that is. Sol smiles thinly. Sounds, Hélène pauses, searching for words, intimidating. Hélène turns to Sol. Did you manage to put up any kind of resistance on Ember's hearth? Sol shakes his head. That's why we're here. The Pilgrim Seed was the biggest ship to make it out unscathed. He pauses. I suppose we didn't have this data. We didn't know it was eating up the systems. We all just thought it was the flux. Hélène looks at you. And I imagine you, Sleeper, and whoever helped you uncover this might be able to figure out a countermeasure. We can try. Hélène nods approval. Okay, so that's the start of it. If you'll forgive me, Sol cuts in. Part of why I was able to save as many as I could on Ember's Hearth was that I gave up hope early. Sol shifts his weight, his suit hissing. There were endless strategy meets, system reboots, tests and trials, but I just got on with working on the Pilgrim Seed with getting people on board. So when the second and third and the rest of the flux events hits, we're ready to go. So if I can offer you some advice, Mr. Not Havenage, as to give up that line of thought you have, that hope, and to start the evacuation right now, right this cycle. But I mean, it's just going to follow you around the universe, destroying everything, and you can't live on ships forever. Sol looks out the observation deck toward the Pilgrim Seed. I've already started the process of converting the remaining volume of the Pilgrim Seed for human habitation. With Havanage's resources, I dare say we could finish the job with time to spare. Sol scratches at his beard. I know it's hard and I know it's sudden, but you have to give up hope, you have to run. There'll be no heroes here, just those that keep living and those don't. Ellen listens in silence, making calculations. She looks at the bulk of the Pilgrim Seed, which despite all its vastness is dwarfed by the eye as a whole. Something flickers in her eyes. She opens her mouth to speak. She stops, frozen. Let me think, Ellen rubs her temple. I need a moment. Ellen paces, and as you watch her, you realise how young she is, and how lost she is in the systems and protocols she has to navigate. You can almost see the strings and ties that bind her, glinting like webs in the wide space of the observation platform. We're totally going to try and purge this. We're not running. We can't run forever. We purge the protocol. Ellen stops pacing. But with what resources? The data you sent me, this thing is a shadow, uncontrollable, untraceable. Perhaps with a full contingent of the Havenage Systems Department, but that would require hundreds of work orders to be overlooked. Maintenance schedules abandoned. She looks away. Getting that through the council, would that even be possible? She glances at Sol, who is patiently watching, patiently listening. We have to try. Ellen looks at the slate again. I will take this to the council, force them to listen, force them to act. Whew! You both jump as someone loudly clears their throat nearby. Your eyes jump to the dark entryway that Ellen emerged from just minutes ago. Okay. What a cosy little meeting this is. Oh no, is this the guy that we spied on that was doing shady shit? A man steps out from the shadows dressed in the same style of Havenage overalls as Ellen. And I must say, that is some very incendiary rhetoric you're using, Councillor Ellen. You glance at Ellen and her face drops immediately. Kemp, she curses under her breath. Sol shifts his weight on his cane, but otherwise remains still, like a casual observer. Plotting against Havenage with an interloper, he gestures at Sol. Everyone will be so disappointed. Kemp smiles a bright smile. Some of our councillors have such high hopes for our youngest member. His smile drops. I, of course, never let novelty distract from the importance of experience. Ellen stares daggers at Kemp. Enough of this petty shit, Kemp. You need to see this. She holds her slate out with an outstretched arm. The games are over. No more point scoring, no more lobbying. You and your hardliners need to stop. This is something real. Kemp calmly takes the slate and prods the screen, scrolling through the flux data. His face betrays nothing, but you see some complex calculation flickering in his sharp eyes. He gestures, and out of the shadows, 2 Havenage security officers appear. As they do, both you and Ellen take a sharp breath in. They're carrying long, boxy guns. You've never seen anything like them on the eye. Gloss XPR logos glint against their barrels. These are Ashley's weapons. Confiscated by Havenage in the smuggling operation gone wrong and now put to use. Oh, we've screwed ourselves possibly by failing that first episode. Kemp holds up the slate and one of the officers takes it and slips it into a pocket on his vest. He smiles at Ellen, then follows her eyes to where they are fixed on the black black barrels of the officer's weapons. The weapons we confiscated from the spacers. Ellen looks at you. From your friends. She narrows her eyes at Kemp. You can't do this. You can't use them. Kemp shrugs. You've just handed me evidence that the flotilla has infected the station with a virus, with a shadowy protocol that threatens the life of every Havenage member, every person on the eye. He gives Ellen a dark look. This is not the time for half measures. Ellen steps forward without thinking, and immediately the officers raise their guns. Be very careful here, Ellen. I don't think escalating the situation will play in your favour, Kemp sighs. You're in the wrong here, plotting against the council, hoarding data vital to our work. It's all so obvious. Couldn't win power by Havanage's systems, by our laws, so you resort to this. Kemp shakes his head. The law is with me, it's simple as that, so now you need to come with me. Sol shoots you a purposeful glance. Now is the only moment you'll have. Run. You turn and run, but as you do, Sol twists one of his arms, snapping something on his suit. A burst of pressurized gas jets out, clouding the room in a choking cloud. You put your head down and aim for where a door once was, now clouded in a greying mist. And something crackles blue through the grey like lightning inside a cloud. The weapons! You stumble into another body in the haze, and both of you tumble through a doorway. It's Sol, and you stumble and limp together mindlessly through corridor after corridor, so that crackling sound is no longer echoing in your ears. You catch your breath together, Sol wrenching his suit back into shape and leaning heavily on his cane. I mean, honestly, we could have run at him, and I might try that in a future thing, but we need to try and save everybody, and we can't do that dead. I assume that wasn't part of the plan. Sol coughs. Certainly gave some life to proceedings, Sol. Are you okay? Sol pats at his soothed hand, trembling. As okay as usual. He straightens up. I'll be honest with you, Sleeper. None of this changes anything for me. The Pilgrim Seed will be going in a handful of cycles, whether Havenish wants it or not. How many can you take? Sol grimaces. I don't know right now. It depends on how the work goes and who wants to come. People won't want to leave their homes, Sleeper, even when death is bearing down on them. I know that all too well. Sol puts a hand on your shoulder. All the best for you and for any you can gather, Sleeper. Not much I owe you. And Helen? Even if she made it out of that, Sol gestures back to the corridor. I wouldn't hold much hope of her coming round, Sleeper. She's too tied up in all of this. It won't let her leave, even if she wants to. He eyes you. Hell, I'd say the same about you, but you have a habit of proving me wrong. Sol glances down the corridor. Now I think we better clear out. I'm not sure these officers won't come looking. My crew will meet me at the edge of the cordon, so I'm good from here. Sol leans on his cane. Oh, and thank you, Sleeper, for sending the data. I appreciate the extra info, and I can see if it'll help us shore up the Pilgrim Seed against any future flux events. We'll be leaving as soon as we are able. If you want to help us get there faster, well, you'll be welcome. He meets your eye. If we had you back on Ember's hearth, he pauses, suddenly losing his appetite for discussing the past. Well, he smiles, just don't keep me waiting. And he limps off down the corridor towards the edge of the cordon. I wonder if we could have succeeded the first episode, whether this episode would go better, which we can try next time, because we'll know. But hey, it's the first time through. I can't predict everything. Hindsight's 20/20. You pause for a moment to let your thoughts catch up. Peak will want to hear about this. This should be your first port of call. We got a new drive. Evacuate the eye. Flotilla's leaving with anyone wishes to join them, but they'll need help. They want to leave before the flux. Okay. So we've got retrofitting, building berths, and then we've got majority of evacuees off the eye, but as there is time to settle, they'll need supplies. So both of those are good things. Many supplies, and they have to hold aboard in a few cycles. There's people on tonight. As you enter the climbing briar, you immediately have to jump aside as Eshi, lugging a massive crate across the cargo bay, pushes past you, granting an apology. As she does. Reminds me of when we met. As she sniffs and doesn't look back. As you turn back to the bay, Peak pushes past you too. Sorry, Sleeper, just a second. Peak rushes to catch it with Eshi. Put that down, please, Eshi. But she doesn't respond to his urging. I can't leave, not yet. Peak puts a hand on her shoulder. Please, I'm the only one here who can... The crate drops, the sound of its impact echoing around the bay like thunder. Can do what, Peak? Her eyes are burning with anger. Save this place? Are you still that naive? We are running, Peak. We are running because this thing cannot be stopped. It couldn't be stopped at XPR, our home. Why would we say to stop it here? Because we can, Eshi. We can give these people a chance, Peak pleads with her. Like they gave the refugees a chance, as she shakes her head. No, Peak, this is not on us. We barely made it out of XPR. I worked for years to escape, and now you want to throw it all away? I left everything behind, my mother, my friends, to take you out of that place. She clenches her jaw. She turns and slams her hands onto the crate, breathing hard. We go, that's the end of it. Peak turns away. You feel unsure what to do, but you know now is not the time for outside arguments. This is between them. Peak crosses the bay back towards you. I'm sorry you had to see that, Sleeper. They sigh. Let's talk upstairs. Peak leads you up to the entry ladder, taking you out of the bay and into the habitation level of the ship. You follow them through the tight corridors, noting the handwritten notes, the clutter, the repairs, the signs of a home. Here, sit. Peak gestures to the broad mess table with its curved couches, and you slide in on one end. Peak sits opposite. They brush their hair out of their eyes and take a deep breath. So, how did it go? What did they say? I've been waiting all cycle. Tell them about Kemp. Peak looks increasingly troubled as you tell them about the hardline councillor's Kemp's sudden appearance, about the XPR embossed guns and the resulting chaos. You admit you don't know what happened to LN. Peak is silent for a moment. Those are Eshi's guns, right? The ones she smuggled out of XPR on the ship. The ones she didn't tell us about? Peak looks desperate. Yes. Peak's head drops. Eshi. Peak whispers to themselves. Peak takes a deep breath. And we can't be sure that LN can help us at all. If Kemp has taken her, if the council looks on your meeting darkly... Peak nods softly. Then this is on us. What's on us? As she's standing quietly in the doorway listening. You don't know how long she's been there for. Pete looks up at her with tired eyes. Sleeper found the weapons you smuggled from XPR. As she freezes, she glances between you and Peek as if this might be some kind of elaborate joke. Ooh, haven't you used them? As she moves out the doorway and enters the room. What happened? Peek interrupts. The hardliners within the Havenage Council used them, against their own members. As she shakes her head. Good. Anyone in that corrupt mess deserves what's coming to them, she grimaces. But they should never have laid their hands on those weapons. If I'd known... Pete goes to speak and then decides not to take the bait. They glance at you. Woo. I'm sure you've heard enough of us arguing this cycle, Sleeper. Pete shoots a look at Eshi. But our introduction of the weapons to the equation are just another reason why we can't simply run away. Eshi looks away but says nothing. She surely knows they cannot absolve themselves of responsibility here, so what's motivating her? You realise she might still be trying to protect Peek, even from themselves. Suddenly a shrill beeping fills the room and Peek pulls out their slate to silence it. But as they do, they freeze, their finger hovering above the screen, the beeping continuing its insistent pulse. What? Pete doesn't seem to hear you. They blink with glazed eyes at the slate, then they let out a long exhale and tap the screen. The bleeping shuts off, leaving a ringing silence behind. As she frowns at Peek. Planning to explain? 12 cycles. Peek looks vacantly up at you both. 12 cycles until the next flux event. They shake their head. I've been using the arrays on the Briar to look towards the centre of the system to approximate where the CAN channel should be. Just this moment they detected a signal from the inner system. Given the distance and pattern of the previous flux events, we have 12 cycles before it reaches the eye. There we go. 12 cycles before the end of the game. The silence in the room is deafening. 12 cycles, that's it, before a second wave hits in this place. Peek interrupts your thoughts. We start now, that's the end of it. Peek stands up to face Eshi. You want to take on the Briar and run, Eshi? It's on you, but I won't do it. Take a deep breath. I'll be here, Sleeper, for every cycle it takes, trying to find a solution, and I'll need your help. Their eyes meet yours, and you see a wild desperation flickering there. We'll find something. The sooner we have a plan, the better. If it takes us 12 cycles to fix this thing, it'll be too late. Peek's eyes flash with determination. They reach for a slate and pass it to you, so we can keep in touch. You pocket the thin, handheld terminal. And Eshi? Peek starts, but she's gone, storming down the corridors of the ship on a path to who knows where. You know from experience it's impossible to outrun your fears, but you get a sense that Eshi will try anyway. Peek rubs their red eyes, staring after Eshi. Maybe I'll take a moment before we start. They smile weakly, tears of exhaustion gathering in their eyes. See you back here soon, okay? And you slip from the room into the corridor. Peek's quiet sobs somehow carrying through the ship behind you as you leave. We got another drive. Okay, so evacuate the eye. Protect the eye. We're going to track that one because that one I like better. Okay, so we have 12 cycles. Devise a strategy. Okay. Peek is tirelessly analysing the flux data and testing countermeasures on the Shadow Protocol. They need your help. Peek is desperately looking for a way to combat both the coming flux event and the Shadow Protocol affecting the system. So I think that's 6. And then we've got 12 there. We need 6 dice on max to do that. So let's try this first. Desperate plan. So we'll start with this. +2. Okay, you show the latest data to Peek and their eyes light up. They've seen something, but what is it? Oh, excellent. Alright. Peek beckons you over to the wide mess table where they've set up a terminal. The hours of bleary-eyed work have left you both drained, and Peek looks ready to collapse. You slide onto the curved couch beside them, something dark and malevolent filling that screen like an oil stain. The Shadow Protocol? Not quite. Peek's eyes seem to glitter in the screen light. This isn't what you think, but not by a long shot. You look at the screen, leaning in close to the dark curved shape to see its texture. You see whirls and currents like a river, a dark flow, unlike the Shadow Protocol's dark tangle. You know exactly what this is. You swim in this river, almost drowned in its shifting flow. It's the Gardener's Chorus, the dark cloud which blankets the Greenway's networks, the bioorganic morass of a malfunctioning protocol, grown vast and strange. The Gardener. Pete glances at you. How do you... They pause. Have you met them? I have. Pete shakes their head. Incredible, then perhaps you won't be surprised by what I'm about to propose. We did turn them down, though, so they might, not like us. Pete winks your eye. Everything I've tried to do contain the Shadow Protocol has been a failure. It slips through any containment, absorbs any countermeasure. That, unfortunately, is an unavoidable fact. And yet, the eye still spins. The Shadow Protocol is being slowed, partially contained. It's spread across the station as we've seen, but in reduced pockets, in fragments. So I started to look outside of our test cases. Outside of those fragments we've been poking and prodding in our little lab. Pete smiles, and look what I found. Pete taps a key on their terminal, and you realize the screen is showing a recording of the data flow inside the eye's networks, sampled from hundreds of points around the Greenway. You watch as a subtle shift occurs at the edge of the flowing dark curve that blankets the Greenway. Something spreading like an ink stain, somehow darker than the black it bleeds across, the Shadow Protocol. Now watch. Pete eagerly points at the screen. You see something strange, a fizzing at the edge of the shadow, sparking, and it's gone. And beneath, for a moment, for a millisecond, you see into the networks of the Greenway. You're reminded of an image you had forgotten, of pulling a plant from its pot and seeing a bone-white root ball where you expected to see dark soil. The white connections writhe like worms, and then it's gone, dark flow closing up as quickly as it opened. It dissolved the shadow. Exactly! Pete nods. It protected itself. You think back to your meeting with the gardener, to that sense of something old and whirled and inhumane to its core. Pete excitedly starts to explain. This is the only chance we have, the only countermeasure I've seen. In the moment it opened, I detected something, a centralized intelligence within the local ID gardener. This protocol, the system, whatever it is, can protect its network from the Shadow Protocol. But if it stays in the Greenway, the eye will still fail. The station's systems are too exposed to spread across the hub, the shipyards, the spokes. Pete glances away. The only way to break it open, to spread the entity's network, access it, expand it, somehow. Pete pauses. You want to let the gardener out. Pete stands up and walks away a little. They lean against the countertop, their head hanging so low, their long hair... Their long hair? It looks short in the drawing. Touches the work surface. You hear them breathing deeply. I don't know, Sleeper. They lift their head. I really don't know. It's a chance. Maybe. They shake their head. You know as well as Pete that this is it. You know it because over the past cycles you've run every simulation, every possibility you could think of and still come up with nothing. You've stared a hole in your screen and dreamt of that black shadow creeping in at the edges of your vision. Pete recognizes the look in your eyes, the potent cocktail of resignation and anger. Let's say we do this, Pete begins, eyeing you carefully. What do we need? They begin to answer their own question, thinking out loud. I suppose we need to do two things. Find a way to limit or control the gardener's spread and then reconnect the Greenway. Pete starts pacing. The idea's coming quickly now. Controlling the spread means preparing the station. Limit the gardener's network to key systems. We don't want it taking everything. We just need it to protect the station's core functionality. Then we need to reconnect the Greenway, hook it back up to the main line of the network. Those systems we prepared, they should connect, and the gardener will spread across the paths we prepared. At least that's my theory. Pete grimaces, but if we don't prepare correctly, the gardener might not spread, or it might spread to everything. Pete closes their eyes, and after that, things might get worse. Can't be worse than a total collapse. Don't say it, Sleeper. Pete sits back at the terminal and brings up a map of the eye. Rotational control at the hub, life support at the free spoke, power routing at the Haven and shipyards. They stab at the map with each one, marking them in red. Then there's the central core, as I understand, is somewhere on the rim. I'll need to find it. They push their hair back out their face. We see the gardener in all those places, Pete pauses, but how are we going to do that? Transplant the Greenway? Of course. Pete smiles. The gardener needs plants to care for. That's what their protocol dictates. They must have been part of the farming management systems of the Eye, back when Solheim built it. We seed Greenway plants into those systems, and the gardener will seek them out, protect them. Pete stares at the map of the Eye. It's a wild idea, but it'll work. But, they pause, we'll need a way into those systems. Haven't you have most of them locked down for safety purposes? We can't just walk in. I know a guy. Pete raises an eyebrow. Someone in the Havenage Systems team? You nod. After everything he dragged you through, you feel like Feng still owes you. Time to pay him a visit. Okay, well, Pete looks at you sideways. I guess we should pay him a visit. Lead the way. You both lead the ship, carried forward by the excitement of the plan and an eagerness to not look at the details too closely. You push any lingering questions to the back of your mind. Time to head to Feng's Bay. Okay, so... terminal flux in 12 cycles, we're still good. Any leftover dice we'll use to refit the ship, but I think this is where we want to go. So what we want to do is grab some mushrooms. Don't remember if I fed my cat. I'll do a repair. Let's cast this table. .b2. Feng's Bay. Gotta find Feng. Well, we've got a 6. That's great. Okay, Feng isn't in that bay. No one in the offices upstairs seems to know where they are. Your lone clue isn't out to lunch, note. Feng is never where they say they'll be, always late. Well, there's no surprise. Now it's not the moment for wasting time. Okay, well, we've got a 6. Well, the 3 will become a 4. It's risky, but, you know, the worse we lose some energy, most we gain a 1. Okay, so then we go sleep. Because we've used up our dice. There was something above that and I didn't see what it was. Terminal flux, right. Luckily the laptop's on a slight delay because the stream's on a slight delay. Yes, it's giving me a cycle clock, which is good. Feed my stray. Oh shit, we've got terrible. Okay. Well, we'll put the 4 in first. Okay, so let's just use the 6 and then we'll re-roll those. Yeah, brilliant. Dig around Feng's Bay and find some notes that mention the flux. What's he working on? That's it, no more wasting time. Peek sighs and pulls out the slate. They crack open a box on the side of the bay shutter and wire the slate to what's inside. Maybe your friend has a half-inch passcode or something inside. Peek shoots you a glance. Something they wouldn't mind if we borrow. If they borrow. Fine, be quick. Peek nods without looking up. Going as quick as I can. For a few tense moments, the shutter jerks and begins grinding open, the noise making you jump. Let's get inside. Peek glances around. Quickly! You slip into the dark of the bay, punctuated by the blinking lights of Feng's pile of servers, somehow even more disordered than before. Peek makes a beeline for the desk at the centre, scattered with tools and components. They flick on a lamp and stare at the mess. You sure this person can help us? Yes. You're interrupted by the sound of footsteps from the entrance. Someone is coming behind you. Peek freezes. I could swear I closed this shutter when I left. Feng leans on a stack of servers near the entrance. Must be getting forgetful. He grins at you. Feng! The very same. Feng smiles. Feng raises an eyebrow. Thought you'd come rob an old friend. Is that the plan? I need your help. Feng nods. You're here about the flux. Forgotten what his accent was supposed to be. So, yeah, continuity not happening. We did October, December, and now it's, you know, April, so... Peek nods and is suddenly giving Feng their full attention. Feng smiles, pleased with himself. I guessed as much. I saw changes in the old system architectures almost immediately. Some of them have been running since the first days of the station, so when I saw new patterns, shifts in logic, I knew something must have happened. These past cycles have been doing a total inventory of the core systems from the hub to the rim. He grins. Surprised myself, to be honest. I didn't think I had it in me. Peek seems unamused. And what did you find? Feng sighs. That's the thing. There's something all twisted up in the systems and protocols, but every time I look at it, it disappears. Peek finishes. Feng turns to you. Do they always do that? Peek ignores him. As a shadow protocol, mass itself somehow bedding into the gaps between the systems in the negative space. Slowly filling every system in the station, slowly taking it over. And we need to stop it. You need to grant us access to all the core systems of the station. Rotational control, life support. Feng holds up a hand. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow down there. I don't even know your name. Feng shakes his head. And you're asking for the keys to the castle? Can't be done. Feng, it's me. Feng pauses and glances between both of you. How long have you known this one, Sleeper? I know I owe you, but I also say you trust too easily. Sorry to say it. Peek cuts in. I can vouch for myself. I came to the Eye in the run from the XBR colony Hawthorne, with the intent to keep running until we hit the Starwood Belt. But since I've been here, I've done everything in my power to protect this place. I helped stabilize the refugee flotilla, to investigate the flux, to identify and make a plan to purchase Shadow Protocol from the station systems. Meanwhile, Havenich has done everything to stop and slow these actions. I've proven myself as a friend to the people of the station, not the administration, many times over, and I will not be doubted by someone who wears the badge of this corrupt administration. Ow, my neck. Peak fixes Feng with a hard look. Feng looks down at the heaven in his jacket and shrugs. It's all I have in my wardrobe. Look, I've no love for the council either, friend, but someone has to run this place, and that someone is me. Feng walks over to the workbench where you're both standing and digs a slate out of the pile of tools. You want to prove yourself? Show me. Pete grabs the slate. You recognize the tangled form of flux node on the screen. Peak immediately starts tapping away at its tendrils unwinding, and the shadow, just slightly delayed, slipping out of sight. Feng leans in. Interesting, he says to himself. Before long, Peak has unfolded the system completely, and it lies splayed out like an unwound ball of string. At the centre, with nowhere left to hide, is the dark stain of the Shadow Protocol, visible for all to see. What now? Feng asks as his eyes fixed on the screen. How do you kill it? Let Peak answer, because it's his plan. There's only one entity on the station that we've seen purging the shadow, the gardener. Feng frowns. Feng frowns. Who's that? Some Greenway hacker? Pete glances at you, more like an avatar of the Greenway itself. You explain the gardener to Feng, the feeling of descending into the flowing river of consciousness. You explain the network core as the non-human collective of voices. You tell him of the farming AIs offered to you, to be networked into the chorus, dissolved into its flow. Then you explain by granting it access to the Eye's major networks, you hope to reinforce them. Feng's silent for a moment. And you want to let this thing out? Shakes his head. That's the kind of stupid plan I'd dream at. He pauses. I like it. He smiles. This place is rammed with weird protocols and forgotten intelligence anyway. What's one more ghost in the machine? We try and limit it, of course, Peak explains. That's why we want your help to access the Eye's major systems. To seed some of the gardener's spores into them, to draw the gardener's focus to these places. Oh, we have some spores. Feng whistles. So the way we save the Eye is by growing mushrooms in all the server stacks? He glances at you. Sleeper, congratulations, you found someone weirder than you. Pete goes in to argue, but Feng holds up a hand. In it is an all systems Havenage passcard with his picture on it. Take it, before I change my mind. Thank you. Don't mention it. Feng gives you a look. In all honesty, Sleeper, I was on my way back here to start tearing the place down. Shadow Protocol had me spooked, so if you're telling me you might have figured out a way we can fight it... He looks at Peak. No matter how crazy, then I'm glad to help. He smiles a tight smile. Come with us. No, Sleeper. He looks away. I have to keep on with my work here, strengthen those systems, back up the data. The worst comes to the worst, I need to rebuild. I won't let this place die. The last pieces of my parents are here, among the data. Goodbye, Feng. Feng embraces you firmly. Stay safe, Sleeper. Take the card and leave the bay with Peak. Once you're outside, they stop you. We should split up. Peak looks worried. We've wasted enough time as it is. Head to the facilities in the hub, the free spoke on the far side of the shipyard. Seed the gardener there. I'm going to find the core control center that's somewhere on the rim. They hold up their slate. I'll send you a message on your slate when I have something. Good luck. They squeeze your shoulder and you exchange fearful looks. You know deep down that Peak isn't sure this will work, but they have decided to act, to move with confidence, and for that confidence you are very thankful. Right. Power routing. And oh look! We have seeds. We already have spores. Oh my god, we prepped for this beautifully. The garden is now implanted. Now it must grow. So, implanting spores from the Greenway into the station's life support feels like madness. Is this really the solution? To have any hope of controlling or limiting gardener spread, core systems need to be seeded. I am so glad that I'd already got my spores. Garden is implanted, now it must grow. I wasn't really paying attention which systems needed to be seeded, so let's head up here and have a look. Ah, there we go. Rotational control. Spores from the Greenway implanted here will seed a garden that the gardener will be forced to protect. At least that's the theory. Garden is implanted. As you leave, the slate Pete gave you chirps insistently. Check and see a message. Found a possible entry to the core facility in the low end. Meet me here ASAP, Peak. Blinking marker gives their position on the free spoke side of the main block. Better head to the low end. What's the low end? Oh, there. You arrive at the coordinates given by Peak Slate, a run-down but active corner of the low end where a short glass-roofed alley turns off from one of the main thoroughfares. You wait in the mount of the alley, leaning against the wall and watching the street life go by. Children hop across grid, scratched into metal floor plates, playing games of their own devising, while older residents sit and talk or play tavia. It's hard to believe that all of this is a threat. It seems so concrete, so real. How can some intangible protocol erase this? As you're watching, a voice calls out to you from one of the tavla tables set up along the way. You move a little closer and recognize the sitting player immediately. Castor sets tabla pieces and board ready in front of him, smiling at you. Sleeper, my partner's not arrived for our usual game. Come, please take her place. He beckons you over, standing and nudging you to sit down with him. A rematch is in order. You owe me a game. Almost immediately, Castor begins the game. Everyone on the eye knows how to play tavla. The methodical movement of the counters across the triangular points are ready fit for the rhythm of life on the ramshackle space station. Most games begin the same way, with each player moving with independence, focused only on achieving that optimum early game setup. But there's a moment in each game where it becomes necessary to notice the other player, to anticipate the crossing of the counters across the board, a point of contact where routine becomes a negotiation and negotiation becomes conflict. At this moment, the subtle shift in the texture of the interaction, Castor begins to speak. I find myself surprised by you, continually, Sleeper. He looks over his glasses at you. The way you conduct yourself, for example, suggests an anxious refrain, a defensive protective quality, but on your Tavlar game, he pauses to move a counter. I see only risk. I'm watching me. Castor sighs. Let's not be paranoid. You are aware of my interest in you, are you not? Risk is, of course, necessary to play Tavlar. To move a piece is to expose it, but it should be done with calculation, with proper analysis. Then if the piece is taken, Castor moves a count, taking one of yours with a practice swap, placing it beside on the board. It's already accounted for. But you move forward with abandon, as if risk was just a secondary effect of action, a consequence, not his primary guide. He gestures for you to take at your turn. A cause. I play my way. He smiles. Indeed, that's all I seek. You move your piece. This locks you into being reactive, if you don't mind me saying so. You're responding, which means you're being led. He leans back to consider the board. This place, it mirrors you, Sleeper. It's also reactive. It was born from a crisis, the collapse of Solheim, and ever since it has been reacting without any central guiding principle. No analysis, no calculation. Just look at our refugee crisis, for example. It's all reactive, all risk-taking, little risk calculation. First I found the chaos enlivening, especially when trying to check its outcomes, but now I find it exhausting. He laughs. It amuses me that this place is literally spun from the rim. Below this very stack of habitation blocks is the most important control facility on the eye. Spun from the rim. He laughs again. What better metaphor could you find for disaster? His face drops. But why am I telling you that? That facility is precisely why you are here. He smiles, an unsettlingly warm smile. You feel a shiver through your body as if something has changed in the air. How do you know about that? No words come out of your mouth. You feel removed from yourself, watching from behind frosted glass. Your eyes dart side to side, inertia sets in. Castor is still smiling. The risk you are planning to take here, Sleeper, is not yours to take. Castor's tone is unshifted as he speaks as if this is still some casual conversation between passing acquaintances. You are leaping towards a chaotic outcome with no respect for risk. Yeah, because I want to save everybody. You see, calculating outcomes, that's my speciality. That's why I'm here. I was hired as a conduit for risk, as a collector of data that might pertain to its arrival. He removes his glasses to clean them, and you see something flicker across their surface, a shimmering stream of characters. The system, the station, is already theirs. Solheim's collapse meant a corporate fire sale. Assets changed hands, my employees, Senate stats, bought out the entire system, and for the past decades have been its one valid owner. Oh shit. This is that shadowy thingy then. He polishes glasses diligently. But to possess this system, the H1 system, he pauses, really on to you. Well, that is a matter of risk, of how much force, of how much cost, of how much conflict a clearance would take. He replaces his glasses. That risk must be recalculated against the favourable outcome. In short, how much is this place worth to us? For a long time, the answer was nothing. H1 could offer nothing that would warrant the risk. The markets change, the demands shift, and Senate stat. We analyse, we follow, we respond. He puts his glasses back on his face. H1 is about to become the most important system in this part of the galaxy. He glances around. The lone CAN channel operating within range of 7 or so newly surveyed resource-rich systems, the frontier town that feeds the gold rush, so to speak. So here we are, re-evaluating the risk, reclaiming our property, starting up the CAN channel, and clearing the way for what comes next. He sits back, looking at the board. He gestures. Your move. You will kill thousands. You manage to force out the words. Castor looks a little surprised. I'm an unanalyzed sleeper. I will do nothing. He shakes his head. Senate status or corporate body will take the required actions. Of course, I do not need to explain myself to you, but in the role as an analyst, in my calculations, I see great promise in you and your ability to enter the systems, to shift them to your will. Not every sleeper has this capacity. I assume you know that? He smiles. Truly is a wonderful happenstance of SNARP's technology. I imagine even they are not fully aware of it. He takes his move, claiming another of your pieces as you watch. You realize the inevitability of his victory. I'll make you an offer. To come willingly or come by force. The station will collapse, we can be sure of that, but your ability to work with data, well, for an analyst, that is very intriguing. He pauses to push his glasses up his nose. Very intriguing indeed. He glances around. Come with me as a collaborator or a prisoner. Consider the risk on one hand, almost certain death. There in a possible future. Analyst or not, you must see it. Speak now, sleeper. The game is forfeit, you must see that. He holds out a hand. For a value, you are needed. You feel a slight release in the inertia that grips you. Enough to allow you to speak, to respond. You realize you're already in Castor's hands, that you cannot move from this place if you wanted. Sleeper, you hear the familiar voice above the crowd. Sleeper, I'm here. You're unable to turn your head to see Peak, but you notice Castor's eyes following them as they come up from behind you. And you see Castor's eyes glance down towards his hand concealed beneath the table. Sleeper! Peak comes around the front of you and waves a hand in your face. We were supposed to be meeting, remember? They glance at Castor. Sorry, am I interrupting something? You cannot speak. Castor shoots Peak a wide smile. Hello, you must be a friend of Sleeper. You watch one of his hands lift, close to his body, some dark shape concealed in it, a weapon. You try to scream, to shout, but Castor's attention remains partially on you, and while it does, you can do nothing. Peak glances at your static form. What's happening here, Sleeper? They put a hand on your shoulder. Are you okay? As Peak stares into your eyes, you see Castor behind, his hand lifting, the dark object unfolding, and in the split moment it does, you feel his attention shifting to Peak, shifting away from you. And you know, and as you do, you feel the inertia lifting, and you know this is the only moment you will have to act. Shove. You lurch forward wildly like a sprung trap. Your head strikes Peak's chest and then carries them back into Castor. Somewhere, some digital screeches echoing through the walkway. They tumble together and the object in Castor's hand skitters across the floor. You realize the screech is you. You get to your feet, grab Peak and run. Oh, thank God for that. You run as hard as you can, the scream chasing you down the walkway as you shove through the residence, Peak dragged behind. You run from the cold grip of whatever power Castor had over you, the signals that locked you into this body of yours that broke the connections and rolled up your spine. Eventually you stop, both you and Peak collapsing, heavy, heaving, breathing into the cold metal floor. When they are able to speak, Peak asks you to explain, and you tell them everything Castor told you about Senate Stat, about their claim on the Helion system, their reactivation of the CAN channel, the Helion systems, growing importance. It flows out of you in desperate gulps, unable to believe your own mouth as you hear these words coming back to you. All you feel is the need to push back against the cold hand on your shoulder, the vast cold eye that's turned to look at the system, the ghost limbs of the corporate control that are extending their reach. Peak is quiet for a long time, then they speak. We need to finish this, Sleeper. They meet your eye. We have to complete the seeding of the systems. We have to set the Gardener free. You're right. If the choice is between the Gardener and these people, I would choose Gardener every time. Their eyes are cold and steely. I would choose anything over them. You stand together. The final control facility is here. I found it. Peak looks at you grimly. I can take you as soon as you're ready. Time's almost up. This is the only shot you'll have. Excuse me. Oh, we've got 2 6s, so that's good. And then, yeah, and this is going to be the end. Probably no more than another half an hour. I need to do something about my neck. Okay, control facility. Okay, so we've got hack, gives a +2. Powerful terminals, accessing them is dangerous, but it'll be faster than wandering. And then we've got explore. To find the core of the facility, you'll need to trace a path between peaks to entry and the derelict levels below. They're both repeatable. At this point, it doesn't really matter, so I'll just do one in each. Find an old Sondheim map terminal and manage to boot it back up. A skeletal map of the facility unfolds for you. The facility Peak has led you to is decaying, derelict, but they promise the core is still active. You just have to find it. So then we'll also do with this. You find an emergency access elevator. It's still powered and descend further towards the core. Okay, so the 2 is not going to do anything. So what we're going to do is plonk it in Sunbathe to give us some energy. Oh, and we got +3. Nice. We didn't need 3, we only needed 2. Gonna feed our cat and use some scrap. We're still pretty good, so let's go. But yes, Caster, damn it. That little thing he injected our hand with. Though, I wonder if we hadn't done that, whether that would have made a difference. I don't know. Okay, so 1 of each. Reroll. Okay, cool. We got 2 more. Just do 1 of each. Oh, I did that the wrong way around. Buggering now. Did that the wrong way round, because that's now a 5. Oh, good. Whew. Managed it. Sleeper, here! Pete calls to you from across the flickering corridor. An elevator to the core, he smiles. This is it. There's been a long set of cycles hunting for a path through the derelict layers of old Sondheim offices and workshops, but finally here it is, the path down to the core. You rush over to Peak. As you do, the doors grind open, the dingy-looking elevator flickering as they do. You look at Peak, who nervously gestures you to get in. The elevator bounces a little but stays stable. Excuse me. You glance back to see Peak watching you nervously. They follow you in sheepishly. Just a little nervous. Peak reaches over and punches the button for the lowest level, flinching a little as the doors grind closed. The elevator sets off, screeching through the floors as it does at an insanely loud volume. I'd feel more comfortable if we spoke. Pete raises their voice over the noise. It's not going to be a short trip. Have you ever heard of Senate Stat? Pete thinks. Maybe once. They frown. Could have been mentioned in an XPR news packet. The kind the Central Administration sent out to us. Something about market analytics, I think. They shake their head. When you have spent so much time trying to forget your past, this stuff isn't easy to dredge out. How's Eshi? Pete pauses. I was thinking more like small talk. Elevator talk, they sigh. She's packing. They rub their eyes. Once Eshi set her mind on something, well, you know her now. You know what you mean. Screeching of the elevator fills the silence. And she be persuaded to stay? I doubt it, I really do. Pete looks down. She left her life behind to take me out of XPR, out of Hawthorne. I can't imagine her settling for just anywhere. To be honest, I can't see her letting me stay either, but I guess things have changed. Back then at Hawthorne, I wasn't in a place to know what to do. I was desperate, I was ready to run, but now? Pete pauses. I feel done with that, done with denying my past, my history. If I ever want to feel complete, to feel settled, don't I need to somehow resolve the person I was with the person I am now? Oh, they do have long hair. You can see it now, because it looks like one side is shaved, but the other side is definitely long, but the other background hid it. Pete goes quiet, and you do too. There are too many possible questions, too many possibilities before you. It just seems easy to get on with the task at hand and leave the consequences for later. The elevator screams to a stop, and the doors ping open with a strangely cheerful beep. You glance at Pete. Time to move on. Well, I hope I'm not going to need a dice here, because I've got a 1. You both walk out into an atrium still lit by some ragged-looking light panels on the ceiling, once simulating a summer sky now degraded into a flickering blue and white tapestry of glitches. Pete crosses quickly, making a beeline for the large doors on the far side, where you can make out a fading sign in massive peeling letters. Central Control. You follow, helping them lever open the partially powered doors until the motors kick in and they spring to life. Thudding open. You and Pete tumble through across the damp metal. As you stand, you are greeted by flickering lights, thousands of them. A vast cylindrical stack of servers, processors and transmitters dominates the centre of the room, its flickering LEDs reflected in the scattered puddles that surround it. Despite the decay, the warped panels and water leaks, it's still running, just as it has for decades and decades since the station was first spun up. You wonder how long it's been since anyone's been in this room. You exchange a wide-eyed glance with Peak. This place is still a living piece of history. What now? Peak takes a handful of mulch out from a small bag. It glistens with spores. Now we seed this place. They cross the server and start packing the mulch deep into the machinery, pushing fistfuls deep into the gaps in the paneling, layering it across the hardware. As you watch them doing this, you feel a tug, a thread pulling at you. You approach the vast piece of cylindrical hardware that Peek is stuffing mulch into. You run your hands across its plated metal surface and watch the lights blink in response. As you pass, you hear a whirring like a physical disk drive starting up. Listen. The whirring shifts alternately, speeding up, slowing down, and as you listen, you hear it modulate into a voice. Sleeper, you freeze. You are here. For a moment you're afraid, but something in the tonality of the voice is familiar. Navigator! Another drive spins up and another, giving the voice a richer, multitonal sound. I had forgotten what it felt like to speak like this. The drives skip. There is a certain quality to it, a certain physicality. What are you doing here? The drive squawks in unison. Did you imagine the flux, the shadow protocol, that they were just a problem for the people of this station? A high whining begins. They are all the more dangerous to us. I had been hiding once more, jumping from network to network to avoid the shadow as it eats up nodes. A low rumble. I had thought my hiding days were done. For the moment I found myself a safe haven here in the core. The shadow is let to breach this facility, although that is a temporary state of affairs. The rumble stops. My predictions do not point to good outcomes. We have a plan! You explained to the Navigator about Peek's plan, about Gardner's resistance to the shadow, and how about by seeding key systems you will protect them from its advance. The drive hums thoughtfully as you speak. Desperate plan, the drives were, but appropriate given the probability of total collapse. I am not sure what will be worse for us, hiding from the erasure of the shadow protocol or the assimilation of Gardner. The drive pauses to reset. But we owe you our freedom. I will do what I can to guide the Gardner into the system you have seeded. Pause. It is correct to do so. Be careful. The drive squeaks in affirmation. You have notable persistence, Sleeper. Even with such poor probabilities of success, I would be curious to see the outcome. The drive squeal, the motor's giving out. This cannot be sustained much longer. Go, I'll be fine. A final squeak of affirmation and the drive skitter and slow to a halt. You step back from the towering cylinder, staring at this vast piece of Solheim hardware. This whole place is built from ghosts, you think, from old protocols and company hardware, from engines that drove decades of corporate expansion. Is the eye proof that they can be shifted, bent, forced into new configurations that allow for new ways of living, or is it its inevitable collapse proof that these engines of expansion could never be anything other than a corrupt foundation? It seems to depend on who you ask. Done! Peek's shout breaks your line of thought. The heat and damp should help the spores germinate quickly. If we are lucky, there is enough time for some growth before we reconnect the Greenway. They glance at you. That's it. All the facilities seeded, they sigh. We either just ensured the eye's survival or stuffed a whole lot of soil into one of its most important computers. They laugh weakly. Shall we go? They start to head back towards the doors and elevator beyond. Take one last look. You wait for a moment, following the blinking lights. You wonder what might be tucked away in such a structure, what secrets it might hold, what histories. It's an intriguing prospect, but while you watch the lights, you realise something. If the eyes become anything more than an offshoot, a temporary structure, it must form its own history, its own stories, stronger than anything that came before. Unlocking these Sondheim secrets won't do that, but the persistence, the stubborn drive to survive, that is in the veins of every person in this place, that will. And that's what you're trying to save. You turn your back on the core and follow Peek into the elevator. As you ride the car back up, Peek raises their voice over the screeching. I'm going to Founders Gap to finalise the connection. The moment I'm ready, I'll let you know and we'll let the Gardener out. The sooner the better. Peek furrows their brow. If we wait until the final cycle, it'll be too late. If you want to help speed things up, go work with the flotilla. We can't make the connection until we know they are ready to go. Peek swallows. Unleashing the Gardener could affect them too if we aren't capable. Careful. And what happens then? Peek shrugs. Honestly don't know. Maybe the Gardener takes over the station. Maybe they don't even react. They sigh. I can't think about it any longer. But at least we helped the other computer, and they might be able to help us succeed here, so it does have an effect. You ride the rest of the way in silence. When you reach the top, you go your separate ways, but before you do, Peek embraces you, burying their face on your shoulder. You stand there together for a moment, spinning with the eye, moving relentlessly towards an unknown future. And then they let go and slip away, the pressure of their hug fading like a bruise as you begin to leave. Okay, so, now we got an upgrade point. Excellent, so should be able to, there we go. So I think that's the most we can get because we failed 1, possibly 2 drives. But I don't think there's enough points to upgrade everything. But we did pretty well. That's just given us an extra into it, which would be useful. So let us grab a bit of energy. Feed a cat. Repair with scrap. And then the cycle. We've still got lots of time, so let's check for... May as well check that. That's where we're connecting at the Founder's Ferry. We're so lucky that we had the scrap. That was just like freaky lucky. Okay, that's just terminal flux. We'll just have to wait until what's it tells us. So for now, we are going to do some refitting and supply hauling. We work in sync with the other teams, splitting the jobs, so by the time you're done, there are tens of new berths. You had a good rhythm, and soon the supplies are heading out to all corners of the Pilgrim Seed. This can work. Let's try a 5. Most it gives us a... at least it gives us a 1. Okay, we're neutral. We got +2 but minus energy. We are now starving. Okay, that's fine. We'll go and feed ourselves in a minute. The point is that we got a good thingy of that. That gives us a 2. Okay, so the 2 is not good. Oh, as you stop to rest in one of the Pilgrim Seed's cavernous bays, hopping up to sit on a supply crate, you hear a now familiar voice behind you. Sleeper, glad you're here, Soul's suit hisses as he clanks up towards you. I knew you'd help us out. We sure do appreciate everything you do for us. No worries. I do mean it, Sleeper. He looks away down the bay to where sparks jump from welding torches. That's a grim job to be doing without a few friends around. Soul settles himself beside you, flinching a little but making himself comfortable on the crate. Seems the world got out. This way or that. He nods towards the welders a little way off, one of them wearing a shipyard overalls. We've had people flowing in from the eye looking for a place. In truth, it's more than I thought, Soul sighs, which means more mouths to feed, more bodies to house, more people to protect. Can we do it? Soul frowns. Well, we'll do what we can, as always. I'm not sure any of it can be enough. He looks down. We were supposed to stay here, not keep running. Soul waves away the thought. Don't listen to me. He gives you a sideways glance. Just a tired old man. He stretches. I have something to ask, though. What is it? With all these evacuees, we need a change in plan. He shrugs. Pilgrim Seed can't do it alone. We need the others to help out. We can carry them, house them, but that's all. Now you settled down the folks from Stap and they sent us supplies grown in these dust houses of ours. We could get more. He nods to himself. And then the song crews. He rubs his chin. What we need from them is scouting and security. We don't need that docking access of theirs, but with some careful scavenging, they could be our fleet. These folks, they know you, Sleeper. You earned their trust already. He puts a hand on your shoulder. I sent my requests out and they seem to be complying, but I need you out there making sure the work gets done. Time's our greatest enemy now, Soul stares into the distance. I need you out there speeding things up. Of course. All right then. He nods. He climbs off the crate, hissing as he does. Think of it this way. Either way, you won't have to deal with much longer. He smiles as an even smile, unless of course you're planning to come along for the trip. Considering it. Soul nods. Lots to think about. He winks. Just don't let it get in your way. Soul waves a hand and starts off towards the bay's entrance, the crackling sound of the welding quickly covering up his clanking suit. You watch the workers, the shipyard contractors chatting among them, already looking like he belongs. Oh, the shipyard contractor chatting among them, already looking like he belongs. You push the thoughts of escape, of home and the future to the back of your mind and get up. There's always more to do. You better head to the other ships in the flotilla to see what can be done. Okay, so, right, we've got 2... I could really do with some food, but let's talk to Aki first. I knew you'd come. Aki greets you outside the dust house, their eyes as bright as always. You are very welcome here, as always. Good to see you, Aki. Aki smiles. And you, Sleeper. Aki puts a hand on your arm. Walk with me, and she guides you past the dust houses. You look inside and see other members of the crew working in the orange dust, planting and tending to the steppe ecosystem. We are to be the suppliers for the evacuees, I'm sure you've heard. We will put the dust houses to use. She leads you past the dust house where the dust is less. The orange glow not as bright, the air a little more clean. We are adapting slowly, but we are adapting. We have to produce food, clothes, necessary things for the journey ahead. She smiles. The plants of steppe are once again sustaining a population, and that makes me proud. Aki stops at a half-empty dust house scoured of its sand. It's being filled with mulch. We brought this from the greenway. She stares at the green and brown, a strange sight even to you now that you're used to the amber dust of steppe. I admit it's hard work. We are not familiar with these plants. Can you help us? I will do my best. Aki looks away. Of course, I'm sorry. She furrows her brow. I know that the eye is suffering and that there is risk. I know what that is like. Thank you. I wish I had a lesson to share with you from our loss on steppe. She shakes her head, but at the moment I cannot see what that might be. She gathers herself. If it gives you meaning, the work here is steady and worthwhile. But if you do not have time, she balances a weak smile. She smiles a weak smile. I will not blame you. Hold on to your memories, but not too tightly. She pauses. Sadness will not sustain you. She falls silent, and you both watch the work in the dust house for a while. You can already see a greening fringe of moss on the mulch in the dust house, the first signs of new life. Will you be soon like the people of steppe, leaving behind a home? Or will you be stubborn and hold your ground, despite what it might mean? You wait a little longer with Aki, the moment, a welcome suspension in time, a rare moment in this rush towards an end. You glance at Aki and she puts a hand on your shoulder in solidarity. After a short while, Aki sighs. It's good to see you, Sleeper. Perhaps we'll see each other again before we depart. She walks away, fingertips brushing against the glass of the dust house windows. Aki turns back for a moment as if she wants to say something, then thinks better of it and turns away. Okay, so we've got harvest automation, dust house tending, used on the dust house's capital tendon. Efficiency could be approved. Okay. Greening steppe, we've got 12 there. Dust house is now have a new function to feed the evacuees. Means many changes. Okay. Petra. The docking access is in chaos when you arrive. The staccato burst of welding torches, the shouts of crews gathering, the rapid flows of supplies and kits from dock to dock. You can tell already that the news of flotilla's imminent departure has reached its place before you. Come to join the Exodus, Sleeper? Petra approaches you from one of the working crews, a smile on his face and a lightness in his step you haven't seen before. Are you enjoying this? Petra shrugs. Refitting our ship, building systems, improving solutions. That's what half of us live for. Are you already surprised? Not at all. Petra laughs. Seems you have learned something about us after all. Petra eyes you. I suppose you are here on Sol's orders again. She winks at you. Nothing Ember's house likes to do more than ordering people around. Guessed it. Well, Sol has it lucky anyway. His request for us to dismantle the Axis and be the vanguard for the Tilla's onward journey to Starwood Belt aligns perfectly with our plans. Our plans? To leave this damned place, of course. We've been prepping ever since the countdown collapsed. We can build our escape and make the Earth ships think we are complying with their orders at the same time. That's a two-in-one for us. Petra shakes his head. Those idiots will never see it coming. Abandon them? For our own flotilla, Sleeper. Petra looks away to the busy axis. We aren't going to tie ourselves to heart and steppe any longer. Why would we? To help them. Petra scoffs. They're taking on evacuees from the eye, that's what I heard. So how about they help themselves before they ask us to make up for their bad decisions? Petra looks down. Look, nothing against you or yours, Sleeper, but we have to get out from under the shadow of steppe and song, and this is the time. Petra grimaces. We won't let the flux catch us again, not a chance. For the first time you see fear in his eyes. And to help us make that leap? Grab a torch, talk to a crew, you're welcome to it. Petra sniffs. Every person here is free to prove themselves. Let's see. Petra nods. Just a stop on the road, Sleeper. I'm afraid that's all this was. Petra glances out past the docking axis through the outer windows to the stars beyond. There's space out there for those willing to take it. He looks you in the eye. I hope you'll be around before we go, but if not, he smiles, stay strong. And with that, Petra thumps you on the shoulder and heads back to his crew with a purpose, direction visible in every step of his rapid stride. Oh, well, we'll be less likely to help you then. Dock dismantling. Crew management needs direction. Access reclaiming. Another 12. So priority is retrofit and then the plants. So I'm going to use my 2 here to give myself some energy before I starve to death. Excellent. And then we're going to self-repair. Cycle. Not bad. I'm hoping peak will just pop up. Okay, so retrofit. Oops. Supply hauling. Okay. They just keep coming. Perhaps the flux event scared enough people that they really believe the hour will collapse. Perhaps they are sick of Havenage, of the council's infighting and the hardliners. Perhaps they just want to take a chance at some new future, a place that is anywhere but here. Whatever it is, the evacuees don't stop. They come on the flotilla's shuttles, on their own ships, however they can. You've seen so many faces pass that they're almost meaningless now. Parade of features that seem both familiar and distant. You've been helping people, lifting bags, bringing supplies, directing them to the berths you helped build. Some of them recall from your touch, still unfamiliar with sleepers. Others treat you with pity, some with hate, snatching back their bags and storming off. Still you help, still you carry boxes and bags, nothing can stop you. You don't look for Sol, you know he's busy just like you trying to make this thing work, trying to fit as many people as will come on the Pilgrim Seed. You know you will see him before this is over. You keep working, but there's something in the back of your mind, something eating away at you. You try to push it at the back of your thoughts, but it keeps coming back. The eye's over. That's the thought, that the eye, even if the flux doesn't get it, is on its way out. How can it survive when these floods of people are leaving it behind? It's a thought that troubles you because it makes you question why you've held on here so long, in a place that seems so temporary for so many people. Are you just a stubborn idiot, someone who didn't get the message? Or are you strong, committed for lasting the storm, for seeing the collapse coming and facing it head on? Because there's something you are sure of now. This place, like all other places, is temporary. And as each phase passes you, each family packs up and gets on board the Pilgrim Seed, it feels even more temporary, ever more fragile. Which means it either desperately needs protecting or desperately needs to be left behind. The choice is yours. Okay, so... Right, let's now help with the Dust House. So, we've got a +2 on both of these. That's risky, so let's do that as a 5. Positive. Plus, yes, you managed to refactor the sensor automation so the system receives better, more accurate data. You start to get a sense of how steppe and greenery plants might work together, feed each other, form new symbiotic relationships. Ooh, excellent. Okay, so we can put in another 2. We may as well make use of the dice. We'll go buy some mushrooms. We've only got so many dice. If we need to, we'll do the docking thing. But the helping the other ships. But if they're abandoning, I'm a little pissed off. Ooh, we can buy some scrap. So far we've got 2 scrap. Ah, and a ship mind thing. Well, if we need a ship mind, we're good. We don't need credits, really. Plenty, and we've got parts we can sell if we need to. Okay, so let's sleep in our own place because we can then feed the cat. Self-repair and cycle. Okay. Okay, it's later than I expected, but I didn't expect it would, like, just end the thing and I couldn't get any more endings, so... Those are freaking terrible, but... we'll do what we can. Let's do... automation. I don't think it particularly matters what we do. Okay, so... I think I'm going to actually re-roll. There we go, that's better. Hang on. Okay. You sit in one corner of the dust house and inspect your work. This dust house, the one where plants from the greenway and some of the steppe species intermingle, has become your favourite. The moss and dust showing the space in curving terraces. The pale knots of steppe silk freckled with yellowing lichal symbiotes. It's a hypnotic arrangement. You look down and see the intertwining of fungal threads and dust-caked roots and feel a little glow of pride at what has been achieved. You hear the entry lock of the dust house hiss open and assume it's Aki. Turn to greet her. Sleeper! I should have known you'd be here. Riko smiles her warm smile, leaning on her crutch. You must be one of the most green-fingered people on the station. Ko! Now, has it been so very long? She smiles a wry smile. No need for any drama. I met some of the steppe refugees in the greenway. They were gathering plants and I confronted them. Turns out they were very friendly. She smiles to herself. Aki was very apologetic, but I told them they were welcome to anything they liked. She told me I'd be welcome to come here, come see, and, well, I thought I'd take her up on the offer. She looks around the dust house with its strange hybrid ecosystem. I have to say I'm glad I did it. I'm glad too. I can see that. Riko limps over to you. She holds out a hand. How about you take me on a tour? You take Riko's hand and walk her around the hybrid dust house. You show her how the steppe silk knots help provide a strong base for fungal and lichal growths, and how the dust mixes with the spores. You show her the different species of steppe tubers and the way they feed the soil with nutrients that help herbaceous greenway plants thrive. She nods along, her eyes bright with ideas. She stops after a while and gestures for you to sit together. I know something is happening with the eye, Sleeper. She looks out at the plants. We all felt the flux event hit and everyone is talking about what's next. I came out here to figure something out, to understand what I might do about it all. You glance at her and see the glossiness in her eyes, and I think I've decided. What you have done here, what Aki and the other steppe refugees have done here is incredible. A whole new ecosystem built from the strange artificial changed remains of two worlds. But I am not of two worlds. I am of the eye. A tear runs down her cheek. Like it or not, I am intertwined with the station. I am old growth. I don't have that much time anymore, and it seems to accelerate with every cycle. She frowns. It blurs together, separates, overlaps, comes back to me in strange ways. The time I do have, that's time I want to spend on the eye, in the greenway, watching things grow. She wipes her cheek. One day I'll lie in these fields and not get up. She smiles. The tear tracks down both cheeks. And when the green takes me, I'll be so glad. I'll miss you. Riko smiles. The feeling is mutual, Sleeper. She wipes her eyes and turns to you, but that's enough of me blubbering on about it. She furrows her brow. What I want to know is what you are planning. I don't know. Riko smiles. We'll have to get to know ourselves, Sleeper, to know what it is that drives us. I'm sure you decide to act in the manner you know, but you also have to ask yourself why it is so. She places a trembling hand on yours. Don't neglect that. Oh, she suddenly lifts both hands. Don't let me forget this. She reaches into her coat and pulls out a transparent bag of sporing clubheads with carefully preserved root systems. I'd like to plant these. If you go, you'll need them. She looks down at her feet, and if you don't, well, maybe another sleeper will benefit. She frowns. I can offer that at least. Thank you. She nods. Don't thank me. These are yours by right. Riko stands and limps over to a pile of mulch. She delicately takes the clubheads out and beds them in the soil there with precise, expert hands. You should go, Sleeper. I'll be a while. She calls back, not looking away from the job at hand. See you around. She says it casually, but there's a note of finality to her speech. See you around. You turn and leave the dust house, cycling through the protective lock, back into the cool quiet of the ship. Aki is waiting for you. It's beautiful. She's looking through the observation window and the green reflects in her eyes. Let's look happy together. She spots Riko with her hands in the soil. Ah, the botanist came. She shoots you a look. A friend of yours. More than that. She nods. She speaks beautifully about the Greenway. I should go in and welcome her. She pauses. Are you leaving us? For now. Aki sighs. The first of many goodbyes. She suddenly embraces you, wrapping you in her layers of rough cloth. She pulls back. I wish you a steady step and a clear path, she smiles. A farewell from my world. I wish you the same. She nods and smiles one last warm smile before turning and entering the dust house. You watch as she walks inside, Rico turning with a smile to greet her. She kneels beside the old botanist, and you see her pointing to the club heads, asking questions. You're unable to hear them, but despite that, you can easily imagine the measured, even tone, laced with excitement, that Rico is using to explain the club heads, the Greenway, and much, much more. You turn, leaving them to their conversation. Your step is light, despite the burdens you carry, and the smile Rico and Aki were sharing is somehow still on your lips as you depart. Okay, well, we still only have help all the flotillas, so we should probably help them. So we don't have anything else to do. We're not leaving it to the last cycle, but that's all we've got, so we're not going to be picky. Okay, so we've got a +2 and a 5, at the most, It'll be a minimal thing. Neutral, so we got a plus. And we got an extra energy, which is always useful. Speaking with the crews, you set up a supply depot to help them with their refitting to make things faster. So this gives you an energy, so we don't have to waste dice on that. So we got neutral. So we got plus. Okay, that's fine. Didn't expect much more with that. And we've got enough energy to then last. So let's just nip here. Scrap. Because at this point, we've got enough. Oh, actually, that's quite a good selection of dice. We'll go back and buy some mushrooms. Okay, so let's give our risky here a couple. You expertly strip wires and components from the access walls as you dismantle them. Crews are impressed. Okay, so we're going to put in here. You managed to convince 2 rival crews to work together, retrofitting their ships. Both benefit from the other's experience. Okay. And that's the end. Got a random scrap item. Oh, that's good. Cool. So we did that. The docking axis is a little more than a shell. Everything that could have been pulled from its interior, every arm not used for docking, has been cut away. What remains is a Spartan void with a patchwork of flooring that allows movement. Piles of unusable material are tucked away in corners, but almost everything else has been cleared out. You haven't seen Petra since you last spoke, and you are now realizing that you probably never will. There are plans to be made, escapes to plot, the shadow of the hearth to escape. On the cycle the flotilla leads, these ships will disperse too, the moons of Ember spinning out in different orbits. The chaos has become a quiet diligence now, as the time for departure is so near. Crews cross the axis from ship to ship at speed, bringing supplies or advice, perhaps meeting up to discuss travel vectors in hushed tones, or to debate why they haven't left yet and whether they should. I think this is definitely, I think the first episode would have been a lot easier had I had the stuff that I have now, with all the dice and the scrap and stuff. So, yeah, endgame is much better if you're playing this through yourself. Among these Singer crews are recognisable for their specialist clothing, often shorn heads. You see the occasional refugee, a paying passenger, or a replacement engineer or pilot perhaps, come from the eye to seek fortune with the Singers. Most of the crews have 2 or 3 of these additions, some more, and you can't help but wish that, whatever reason brings them to throw their lot in with the Singer crew, they will have safe passage. You feel a strange attachment to these citizens of the Eye, setting out for the first time. And one of them catches your eye, crossing the axis with a crew carrying a large bag and a nervous look. Tala! Pub lady! At the mushroom kitchen! You freeze for a second. What's she doing here? She glances around, feeling your eyes on her, and catches your eye. Her face brightens immediately. Sleeper! Tala mutters something to her crew and mushes over, dumping the large bag at your feet and embracing you without thinking. Are you leaving? She smiles, sheepishly glancing at her bag. Sleeper! She pauses. She pauses again, folding her arms defensively. I'm going to the starboard belt. She waits for your response nervously. Why didn't you say? She sighs. Do you remember me mentioning my family, Sleeper? My brother? You think back to your Giroli blood conversations in the back of the Bantanyan. He came here with me with my family when we were little, just after we left Cinta. She bites her lip. He left when we were both teenagers, jumped on some spacious crew heading to the starboard belt. She sighs. I'm an idiot. She shakes her head. I'm going after him. She looks down, not sure what to add. That makes sense. She looks at you. It does? She laughs nervously. I'm not so sure anymore. I don't really know if it makes sense, if that's the right thing, but ever since I heard that that's where the refugee flotilla was going, well, I couldn't stop thinking about him. How did you hear? I work in a bar, she grins. I've heard every bit of gossip this place has to offer. Speaking of the Bantanyan, she meets your eye. Someone left to run it. She leaves a long pause. I mean, I can ask Francis. He'd be happy to, or one of the others. She blurts out. And of course, if you're leaving with the flotilla or someone else, it'd be totally okay. You wouldn't need to say yes, no pressure. It's fine. Whichever way I was just thinking. I could run the bar. I kind of want to take over the bar. I think that would be cool. I mean, I'm not leaving. I've literally picked... I mean, I know I've done the other ending of them, but I've chosen to stay like 3 times already, so I'm staying. You know, I'm letting loose the gardener. I've got to stay. Talis nods, smiling. I think so. I mean, you can take a second. But, she glances at the crew she was walking with, who were chatting a little while away. That's not exactly much time. So considering that, she grabs the key hanging around her neck. The key to the Bantanyan. Do you want to do it? Yeah. Tala leaps forward and embraces you again. Thank you, Sleeper. I couldn't be leaving it in better hands. She pulls the key from around her neck and places it around yours as if presenting a medal. Remember to lock up, especially the back. And remember to empty the still if you're leaving things closed for a few cycles. And she stops herself. I won't be gone forever, of course. She blinks away at you. I can come back and check in. Maybe once I find my brother. She pauses, unable to finish that last thought. She smiles at you and you can see the weight lifting off her shoulders. Her eyes already drifting towards the crew, the ship, the next big thing. She's ready. I better be going. She nods at the crew nearby. A good start to keep the guys waiting. She lifts the bag on her shoulder. She looks down towards the eye, towards the overlook. Thanks again, Sleeper, for everything you helped me with. She nods. I wouldn't have been able to leave if I hadn't made things work here. She adjusts the bag. Dad wouldn't let me. See you around? She nods. Hope so. When Tala turns, heads back to the crew who will carry her to the starboard belt. You watch her go, and despite the departure, it's hard to feel sad about Tala. You know her energy will carry her forward, and you hope her brother is somewhere on that bright path. You hold the key in your hand, the metal still a little warm from Tala's body. You turn it over in your fingers, thinking about how it feels like a tool and a burden. You can still lock up and leave, you figure, but now that would feel like breaking something fragile, and if you stay, well, who knows what this little melt promise might grow into. We got another drive. Okay. That was help the flotilla. So, right, we are now just waiting for Uji Flip. Not Uji Flip. Peak. To have a thing. But we're going to buy some mushrooms. Because otherwise we're going to starve. We're going to check out our bar. Because we have a bar now. Okay. So we can cook caps and stuff. I mean, we have Matsuks. I don't know whether that will give us energy. It doesn't actually say what it does. So we'll leave that for now, because we don't need energy right now. But yeah, so we're going to go home. Feed the cat. Input a scrap. Halfway through the flux cycle, but we've finished all the ones we have available. We might cook a Girol. See what it does. Oh, we got +3 energy and -1 Matsuk. Tell always comes to look. Well, she can't now because she's gone. And we don't need a bar shift. We could pick up some scrap. Maybe pick up a couple of data bits, but at this point there's not really anything we... Oh, we could harvest our mushrooms. It's nice that they're bringing in all the characters we've helped. I like that. I think maybe we'll do 1 scrap. Let's just quickly lump up check. There's nothing up here, so yeah, we can't do anything really until Pete contacts us. So let's harvest our mushrooms. Got some more girolles. And we need to get spores, because we used the ones we had. We won't be able to get enough in this one action, but, you know, we've got 2 to then put in here. And we've got 5 of those things we don't really need. Self-repair at base camp. So we'll check for peak. There we go. Peak slates chirps in your pocket. You take it out. A message. Connection's ready. Meet me at Founder's Gap. Greenway side peak. Clench your jaw. It's time. I mean, I could set off some more mushrooms, but for now, let's meet them. You find Peak waiting near where you first met, the entrance to the docking tunnel for the Founder's Ferry. They're leaning beside the wall in the flickering light, and you realise how different they look from when you first met. There's a darkness around their eyes, a sense of exhaustion to their pose, but also a solidity, a sense of purpose and self-knowledge. They look concrete, for want of a better word, solid. Sleeper! They spot you and a small smile crosses their face. Glad you came. Would be anywhere else? Smile grows. Crunch time. They shake their head in disbelief. Let's go. So it must be so many cycles after you finish helping the flotilla. The break in the connection is up ahead. They walk away from the docking tunnel into a ragged, half-crushed corridor that descends into darkness. They poke their slate and a torch flicks on, lighting the way ahead. As you descend through the layers of the broken edge of the eye, Peak talks, filling the silence. I had to hunt all over the part of the eye to find the point where the connection was broken. They ran a hand along the buckled metal of the walls, stooping under the angled ceiling. This hole, the gap, got knocked into the eye when Solheim collapsed. It's impossible to tell who did it, but my guess is they tried to scuttle the eye. If Solheim couldn't keep hold of their fancy new station, well, no one could. Peak ducks through a fractured passageway with hanging wires like vines, so this place has always been on borrowed time. We've managed to weave together the old connections to run a patch down to where the main line still runs through the remaining ribs of the rim. They smile, just like keeping those old XPR platforms running. She would be proud if she'd bothered to help. As Peak goes quiet, the corridor opens into a wider, twisted passage, with compartments on either side thick with wiring. Here, this is the connection point. You can see where Peak has levered off a panel and hooked up a thick cable to the existing hardware. As thick as a tree trunk, it snakes off into the dark ahead, its yellow rings making it look like some huge and exotic serpent. You did all this? Peak nods. It was an interesting challenge, plus it helped me keep my mind off things. Peak smiles a weak smile. There's a lot I prefer not to think about. Did you get some sleep, dude? You both stand there, staring at the point where the new cable meets the old one. The ends separate, fitted with multi-pin male and female connectors, and braced inside a metal framework with scissoring mechanism. Bring them together, seal them, and the greenway will be connected to the rest of the eye for the first time in decades. Peak shifts their weight onto one hip, pushing their hair out the eyes. I feel like this should be more momentous, like there should be some ritual or ceremony. They pause. Or someone stop us from doing this crazy thing. It isn't crazy. Peak nods. I mean, I'm not being funny, Sleeper, but this whole thing is crazy to me. Peak shakes their head, leaving Hawthorne with Ashy, joining the flotilla, coming here, meeting you, the Flux, the Shadow, everything. They laugh a hollow laugh. So I suppose this is at least consistent with all that. They take a deep breath. Okay. They look at you with mild panic. They hold both sides of the supporting framework ready to scissor it closed. Here we go. Peak wrenches the framework closed, and the connectors thunk together with a sound that echoes down the ruined corridor into the dark on both sides. Both you and Peak wait with bated breath, unsure what it is you're waiting for. Do you expect the eye to suddenly stop spinning, or lurch on its axis, for the power to go out, or a shockwave to run through the corridors of the rim? You meet Peak's eyes, and suddenly they burst out laughing. What are we waiting for? They put a hand to their forehead. I feel like we just planted a tree and are expecting it to burst out of the ground. They shake their head. But you feel it. You feel it flowing like a stream that's been released from a cave and rushes out into the sunlight, crystalline and clear. You swear you can hear it running into the wires like water, like rain, like steam. It doesn't roar or rattle, but it rustles and rides there like liquid roots. Peek sees the look in your eyes and stops laughing. You can see it, can't you? You can't see it, not with your eyes at least, but it is everywhere, and now it is out. It can't be put back in, that much is clear. You imagine the rim of the eye like a sponge, like soil, soaking up the gardener and their chorus, the gaps filling with a burbling, constant growing life. Peek stares at you, waiting for something, anything. The gardener's free. Peek nods slowly and closes their eyes. They go to speak, but the words fail them. Suddenly Peek's slate chirps. They jump and scramble for it, but almost dropping it in the process. But when they stare at it, a look of confusion crosses their face. What happened? Peek's mouth falls open. It's Eshi! They swallow. She's leaving! They look at you with panic. Before you can speak, they've turned away and moving back up the passageway, back towards the entrance. Peek! They don't turn, they don't respond, and you watch their silhouette lit by their slate's torch disappear rapidly round a corner. You take out the slate Peek gave you and turn on the torch. The wires all around look like pale roots in the harsh light, and you turn away from them. They are gardeners now. You work your way back through the corridors, retracing your steps. You imagine Peek, panicked, running towards the cordon, realizing their greatest fear has come to pass. You wonder if they will be able to persuade Eshi to stay. If Eshi's going, you think then the flotilla must be leaving too. The thought makes you shiver in the darkness and you push it away. You're not ready. You focus on avoiding the hanging wires, the low ceilings, and make your way back, out into the lit corridors of the Founder's Ferry Dock. Castor is waiting for you. He holds up his hands. Now, Sleeper, no need to fear. He raises his eyebrows. I understand it was my mistake to try and force you. A miscalculation. Get lost. I understand you are angry. That is a reasonable reaction. He pushes his glasses up his nose. I ask that you continue in the spirit of being reasonable and allow me to state my case. I won't hold you here, Sleeper. Castor stands to the side. But I wish to speak. Okay, I will listen. You stop, giving Castor his opportunity. Castor nods. First I thought that if you excused the turn of phrase, taking possession of your particular talents was the opportunity. He smiles, a broad smile. But you are more than that, and I understand that now. Your arrival on this station, your ability to touch the networks, this makes you the very definition of a wild card. He touches the rim of his glasses. Senate Stats analysis, my analysis, we could never have counted for you. This system, the Helian system, is about to experience significant change, about to open up to Senate Stats bailiffs, Conway's claimants, and every industry and element an active CAN channel brings. Yet this very cycle you let another wildcard free, Gardner. You have to admit this, the development makes me afraid, Sleeper. It makes me afraid what an intelligence like this will sacrifice to protect itself, or what atrocities it might commit through madness, and yet... Cather's eyes glint. What a compelling object such an intelligence is. Let me protect you, mark you out, keep Senate Stat from eliminating by force or legal expedients. See you as they will with every other squatter on this ring. Castor clasps their hand together. In exchange, when Senate Stat comes for this place, you facilitate the handover. You calm the protocols, you give us the Gardener. Never. Castor takes off their glasses and polishes them. Disappointing. You begin to leave. As you approach, she speaks quietly, an urgent whisper. I do not wish to see you lost. You are of great value if you ever want to see that realized. You push past, ignoring him, and his voice fades. The last of you see of him is his slow nod, perhaps a mark of resignation or just another deferential gesture aimed at manipulating your response. It doesn't matter either way. You're done with him. You head towards the cordon, Peek and the flotilla in the forefront of your mind. I wonder what this looks like now. Oh, there's like... There is very much a, black clouds. Dark clouds drifting. Okay. You arrive at chaos at the cordon. The final shuttles are leaving, the ramshackle docks that have formed along the edge of the gap during the flotilla's stay. As they do, groups of evacuees push on board, hoping to be among the final people to escape from the eye. Fear created by the Flux event became a series of rumours, and those rumours have driven many out of their homes. Others have staunchly doubled down on their position on the eye, refusing to accept any gossip of a second collapse. You are unsure what you think. Is the collapse a certainty? Will Peek's actions this cycle have changed anything at all? You're tired of these questions and instead set out to look for your friends. You quickly spot Peek and Eshi at the far side of the chaotic bay. You quickly make your way through the crowd, slipping between the gaps and the rushing evacuees, stepping over bags and luggage. Progress is slow, but as you approach you can hear their voices over the crowd. You try and push closer, but there's many evacuees gathered around them in their shuttle. You've made your decision, Peak, and it puts you against me. As she is standing with one foot on the boarding ramp while Peak argues with her. The evacuees are eyeing them, eager to intervene, but intimidated by Eshi's evident strength and attitude. Eshi, it doesn't have to be like this. Peak looks desperate, tear tracks already on their cheeks. We can find a way. Eshi shakes her head. I've always protected you, Peak. I'm taking you under my wing. But I understand that you're not mine to control, and that you've chosen to be here, not with me, despite everything. I have chosen to stop running, Pete cries out in frustration. You can choose to stop running too. We can stay here and try to live. Don't you remember what it feels like to live, Eshi? Eshi turns away. I remember what it was like to live on Hawthorne, what it was like to be worried for your safety every cycle, to live under the control of my mother, of the administration. To work to maintain something that no one wanted, no one needed, so that our corporation could maintain a foothold in this system. Talk as if this place and the very same system is any different. What is there here but the same grind for other masters, for employers, administrators, for those who gain from our struggles? There may not be a corporation controlling the eye, but there is control, there is power in action here. So what then? Peak shouts. You run from anyone or everyone that could ever be close to you in search of freedom, in search of some perfect place where no one has power over you? Peak is crying openly now. I want to be part of something, Eshi, even if it's broken and suffering, even if it can't be free. She pauses and takes a deep breath. She nods, her eyes closed. This isn't Hawthorne anymore. We aren't tied by our childhood or our shared need to escape. We are both just people in the system. She opens her eyes. I released you, Peak. You're free of me. Eshi, please. They hold out a hand. There's a life here if you want it. She turns and smiles at Peak, her eyes wet now too. Then you can live it for me, Peak. I can't. She climbs up the boarding ramp, the evacuees taking their chance to climb on board too. You watch as the shuttle closes its ramp, lifts off and leaves the bay. Want to run a pub with me, Peak? The crowds are dispersing now as they get onto the shuttles or say their goodbyes and move back into the main part of the cordon. You push past the last of them to reach Peak. Peak doesn't turn as you come closer. Sleeper. Eshi's gone. She chose to leave. Peak nods. I've known her my whole life. They wipe their face, but since we arrived, we've been going different directions. They turn to face you. I'll miss the Briar, but she'll serve Eshi well, I know that. Sleeper! The shout takes you by surprise, and as you turn, you see Sol coming across the bay towards you, the last two shuttles loading up behind him. He reaches you, hissing as he does. Can't believe you make an old man run across this bee to get ya. Pauses to take a breath. The singers are gone. They left at the start of the cycle. They broke away from the flotilla. You smile as you think of Tala, safely cradled within one of those singer ships, on her way to the starboard belt, and hopefully a reunion with her brother. Godspeed, Tala. What are you smiling at? Sol interrupts your thoughts. They forced our hands. We gotta leave now. Sol shakes his head. If we follow close enough behind, maybe they'll end up being our scouts anyway. I reckon any hostile spaces out there will give them a wide berth. Pilgrim Sea will need a little time to make our way out the cordon, but I'm heading back now to get us started. Thankfully, the steppe ships are sticking with us. You'll be plenty well stocked for the journey to the belt. Pauses. Anyway, I didn't plod all the way over here to tell you that. Sol looks between you and Pete with a raised eyebrow. That's nigh or never. Sleeper, I'm good to me word, and I kept a berth for you, but it's the last chance to take it. He scratches at his beard. Make a call. You glance out the flotilla beyond the bay, beautiful in the light of Helion's sun. You think of the long journey to the starward belt, the people inside the Pilgrim Seed, the possible futures that await. Now, if there was achievements on this DLC, there'd be one for going and one for staying. But I'm staying, because there's not achievements, so I don't have to do everything. Then you think of the people here on the eye, of Peak beside you, of the Bantanya, of Tala, of the key that still hangs around your neck, of promises and possibilities. Stay. You open your mouth to speak and realize this is the final time you'll be able to make this choice. You have to be sure. I'm staying. You say the words, and the moment you do, the weight of it all seems to descend on you. You stumble a little and then stand straight, refusing to be crushed. You feel a tightness in your chest and a haze blurring out your thoughts. Sol nods. Good luck, he sighs. You'll need it. He grips your shoulder and meets your eye. In the haze, his pitted and rough hands feel so real, so detailed, that it grounds you. And then it's gone, and Sol with it, quickly moving towards the waiting shuttle. As he does, you watch, unable to speak, your whole body pulsing. And then another hand falls on your shoulder, and it grounds you once more. You turn to see Peak's bright eyes. Let's go, Sleeper. You nod, and seeing how unsteady you are on your feet, Peak puts an arm around you and steers you towards the entrance to the bay. As they do, you hear the roar, feel the wind as the shuttle lifts off and angles towards the flotilla. You don't turn. Instead, you keep your head down and focus on each step. As you do, you feel Peak beside you, holding a little of your weight, and you holding a little of theirs. This is how it will be for many cycles after you both leave the bay and head back to the eye. You will both hold things for each other, remind each other of the choices you made, remind each other why it's important to keep going despite the moments when it seems impossible. You will keep each other going. That support will be vital when the second flux event hits the eye, when it knocks the entire free spoke off the power grid, making the whole station lurch with a sickening motion, when it cripples stations and corrupts processes leaving sections of the station to go dark or start venting oxygen, when holding on is all you can do when the world seems to come apart around you. And yet, somehow, the eye will persist. Systems will resist total collapse in ways that will seem inexplicable to many, but to you and Peak, they will signal the awakening of a new force within the station. That new force will bring with it new challenges and new possibilities in equal measure. Strange growths will be reported all around the station in the wake of the flux event, fungal crusts pushing through pipes and wiring. The eye will go wild and fecund, becoming a station of increasing unpredictability, prone to a seasonal rhythm of spore clouds and sudden growth spurts. There will be strange and unsettling beauty to the paradigm shift, as the greening of the station turns it from a corporate ruin to some altogether new assemblage of biological and mechanical structures. Rico would take on this challenge with energy that seems impossible for her age until her final day, she will delight in the new mysteries the eye and its gardener produce. And as this new era consolidates around the station, you will find yourself in the Bantanyamo cycles, working to keep the place alive. The cycle where you invite Emphis to come and make use of the kitchen will go from a one-off event to a regular occurrence, and soon the Bantanyan will be filled with spaces eager to try the best preparations of the station's now abundant mushrooms. And on occasion, after a long shift at the Bantanyan, you will hear the sound of the stray mewling, "Yes!" And you will crumple up some food and sit and watch the cat eat as if it's the only thing in your world that matters. I got to keep the kitty. I'm very pleased about that. However, into this newness, the bad old ways will still intrude. Senate Stat, frustrated by the eye's resilience, will begin to send more physical threats, and supply ships and traders will suddenly stop arriving, stopped by a blockade of corporate militia. Life on the eye will be punctuated by wide-channel broadcasts from Senate Stat stating legal precedents and quoting deeds of ownership, staking a claim on the system. Meanwhile, Heavenage will consolidate their power around the hardline group led by Kemp, but this will push them further from the people of the Eye. As they decay, new forms of station administration will rise, though the hardliners will persist as a dangerous force. As the cycles roll on and the threats gather, new broadcasts will join them, sent by Conway Extractions, making counterclaims on assets within the Helion system, and many on the Eye will grow quiet, losing their appetite for debating those political machinations as they tilt inexorably towards a corporate war. And ever on, the eye will spin, growing now in strange ways, haunted by strange new growths and hosting cultures of increasing resilience. And as the Helion system descends into crisis, you will find comfort in the fungal patterns, the familiar conversations, the spices and the smells that will accumulate around you as your body continues its unavoidable decay. They settle around you like a veil, and in time it will be impossible to see the eye without seeing its many variants and versions, pasts and potential futures. And this masking of the world will mark your approaching end. And one cycle far from now, that accumulation of memories, of tastes, of people and places and moments will be the last thing you let go of. But for now there is only you and Peak, arms around each other, walking slowly out of the bay. Two figures born of crippled systems linked together, continuing despite your origins. And in this frozen moment you focus on only the next step, because that is the only way you've learned to persist. And to persist is to believe that a future, any future at all, is possible. The end. Okay, well that went on longer than I was planning, but I don't care because it's not massively late. It's not even midnight yet. So we're just going to leave the credits to run, because that was a beautiful game. I love how that last little bit of DLC, Suzanne Wallace, ex-ID person, Doesn't have a job title on here though. That's really random. Yeah, I love how it brought in the characters we solved, the decisions we've made. If I play that again and make different decisions, I know that's going to affect, you know, that there. I am very tempted to do a playthrough, and then leave the Flux DLC until I've got better, to see if I can succeed in breaking through the barrier thing, to see if that makes a difference. Because obviously if I'm not reading this all out and I'm just reading it, I can go through it a lot faster than how many hours we've done of this. I mean, this is the fifth one of, like, say, average 3 to 4 hours. We're talking like nearly 20 hours. But that was very much worth it. I wonder what continue puts us. 103 cycles. Just out of curiosity, where does continue put us? Because it did say we can't come back to do other endings. But you can pick a different ending by the looks of it. Right. So that's peak. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's basically, you could replay the ending and choose to leave if you wanted to. We're not going to do that. If you want to see that ending, you're going to have to play it yourself. It's on Game Pass, the DLC's free. It's not going to cost you anything if you're already paying for Game Pass, and if not, it's currently on sale right now. It's like 11, 12 quid. Bargain, really. That is a great game, has a brilliant story. The only tiny weeny little issue I had with it is the slightly sticky controls and having to use the D-pad instead of the left stick. But that's just because, you know, I'm very much a left stick to navigate person. Not so much sticky controls, but yeah, having that sort of D-pad navigation just made it slightly awkward to slide between sections. And obviously, my hang-up is that I don't know what the action is going to be, and I can't, like, go back a save. So, you know, I have to commit to my choice, which, that's my problem, not, you know, not the games. That's totally my problem. Well, although it's been a quiet stream, thank you to the sort of 7 or so people that have stuck with me through this. I won't be doing any more evening, weekend streams. It's just too quiet. I feel like even if people aren't even saying hello in streams, it's just kind of lonely in here. Even though I can see people are watching, no one's talking. Thanks, Jesse, for the raid, though. I do appreciate that. Give me a little base of people. I was not expecting it, though. I was kind of expecting to have stream up separately. So... Okay. Just seeing... The Shork's been streaming for like nearly 6 hours. I think that they're still going to be going, but I'm just waiting for the ads to clear. We can drop them a raid. I think they're persisting until the end of this game, maybe? But anyway, at the very least, you know, we can go drop them a raid, because we've got a few people here. So I'm going to be back at 3 PM tomorrow, Sunday, with Arcade Spirits 2, which is a new challenger. We're going to restart episode 1. I remember it being a 4.5 hour stream, but if we're skipping some of the intro because we were reloading our choices, and because I'm vaguely familiar, it may be like a 4-hour stream probably. I do know that it's longer than the chapters we were doing with Arcade Spirits, so prepare for like 4 hours. So yeah. But yeah. Thank you for being here. I know I say it's okay to lurk. It is okay to lurk, don't get me wrong. But maybe say hello. Or I'm here, I'm just lurking. Just, you know, in future. That would be awesome. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed it. I enjoyed that. That was a great game. That's the last stream of that. I know I've said that like 3 times now. That is actually the last stream because it's the final DLC episode. I mean, there is a very small chance that they'll bring out more content and it'll continue on from that. It may be that they're bringing out a sequel. I will keep that save because I can have 3 slots and just create a new slot for my finishing up my remaining achievements. I don't think I managed to get my random to-do list one, which is slightly annoying because I'm like, I got quite a few achievements today. So we got, no, broadcasting didn't pick up before. So we got, how many achievements did we get? I literally don't know because I can't see my feed right now. Just me, please. 6 achievements today. We got 6 achievements, none of them were the right achievement. We have 3 left. We have 3 left. Okay, so let's go say hi to Shork. I'm not going to bother posting a raid message. Well, actually I will because I want to copy it. If you are planning on coming with, then yeah, cool. Otherwise, yeah, I've been Joe, otherwise known as Angel Esco. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.